Good morning. It's very rare that I'm on at 8:32 a.m. my time here in New York, not the city. I wouldn't live in the city. I don't even go to the city anymore. It's been ruined. Broadway must be suffering. They'd have to be. My name is Jack Willard, and this is not a time when my audience would be on. They tell me in the analytics, so anyone that we find will be possibly new, or someone just happened to see notification. If you have your notification bell on, you'll know. First thing, say content first, because there's the tuned in for content. The most important thing I want to tell you is we will be live for our big show Saturday night, tomorrow night, the 11th of May at 10:30 p.m. Worldwide Ramblings. Worldwide Ramblings tomorrow night at 10:30, the 11th of May. That's East Coast time. Translate it to your time. If you're in a whole other country, as far as Gump would say, it could be like mm, afternoon in Australia, for example, early morning in the UK. But people find us, and already 3 people have found us. Well, who are you? Are you early birds? Nancy DeBarco. I think I could come on any time of the day or night, and I'd find one of my most loyal viewers, Nancy DeMarco. What are you doing up this early? I will tell you. um, there's a Haitian couple that lives next door, very nice people. Andy, that's Karen's son, mowed the lawn for them the other day because um, he had some kind of procedure done where he couldn't you know use the push mower. So Andy did it for him. He even gave him something, which is nice. The worker is worth his hire, right? And that includes on YouTube. And uh, so he has helped him fix that lawnmower in the past and what have you. And this morning, I was supposed to take Charlie and his wife, Miss Yvette, to Cornwall Eye Surgery Center, where she would have, some eye surgery. Obviously, you wouldn't go there if you had a foot problem. They'd look at you funny. They'd look at you funny. So about 8 or 9 days ago, I said to him, because I knew that she was going to have the other eye done, I said, "Is it this Friday? Because I need to emotionally prepare for this." But really, emotionally preparing for it just means I'm going to suffer, because all week long I'm going to be thinking I have to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God. For me, 7 o'clock in the morning, this would be like if I went to Charlie next door, who goes to bed an average of, say, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I'm still watching TV in the living room, and it gets dark over there. Imagine if I went to him and said, "Charlie, I've got this eye surgery coming up on Friday at 3 a.m. in the morning," which means I would have to leave at 2. Karen's too nervous to drive at that hour or anytime when it's further away. Could you take me at 2 a.m., which would mean you'd have to get up at 1:30 in the morning? He'd look at me like I was crazy. That would mean I'd be doing that on 3 hours sleep at best. I can't I can't take you to a 3 a.m. appointment for your eyes and get up at 1:30 in the morning to do it. I can't do that. Make a more reasonable appointment. Well, anytime the word surgery is involved, there's no respect for the night person. None. It's always be here at 6 a.m., be here at 5 a.m. Oh, don't worry, we'll get you in later. Don't come until 7:30. They have no understanding of the night person, and they don't care to. I go to bed as an average, and I'm trying to change this, especially as the nice weather gets here. I go to bed about 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes don't get to sleep till 4 in the morning. Sometimes a little earlier. I go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. But that is my schedule. We make all our afternoon appointments, all our appointments in the afternoon. If they say, "Well, we don't have an afternoon for 6 weeks," I say, "You book me for that 6 weeks then, because 'cause I'm not gonna make a 10 AM appointment. I'm not gonna suffer like that because, I'm gonna come in here on 2 or 3 hours sleep, and it's not good for an old man of 68." Well, who are the other brave people? I think I saw Patty with an eye. Good morning, Jack. Yes, I see. I got Patty twice here in the same line. Hi, Patty. Even Neo. Hey, good morning. Debbie Inglis is here too. And it's afternoon in the UK, right? Good to see you on early. Yeah, I've never done this. I've never done this. I've always wanted to, though, because I want to find, what kind of people would come on. I know it's not going to be 135 or 100 and, 40 something live. And then, we go over 1,000 in the replay. But I did wanna come on. I'm not gonna waste this time because I'm up now, I'm up. I can't just say, "Oh, well, I'll just go right back to bed." There are people that could do that. But in order to get any sleep in the overnight, I had to double my, Xanax. It's still a safe level. I only take half a gram at a shot, and I've been taking this, for many, many years, many decades, since the first divorce, I think. I started taking Xanax. You know, it's about as, Mike Huckabee says on the Relaxium sleep commercial, you lay in bed and it takes, over an hour just to quiet your mind, and you need a little help at some point, because if you're a creative person, and I'd like to think I am, I got all these things swimming in my head. I mean, it's not just like they're, playing in the water, they're doing laps my thoughts. They're doing laps back and forth. They go to the deep end to the shallow end, you know what I'm saying? So, it is really hard to do that, but the Xanax kinda helps that, and as my, therapist would say, um, who is, well, he had a complete nervous breakdown after our last session, so he's he's, uh, he's in the hospital now, but, they tell me he's dribbling in the corner after my session. So, no, you is a great guy. He says, "Well, do some reading, and you'll get tired." And he's right. That probably would work. I've done that once or twice, and it kind of did work. But Georgia Brown, sweet Georgia Brown, you've been commented on that name forever, right? Good morning from North Carolina. Are you anywhere near Cary, North Carolina? Because I know somebody from there now. I'd love to be headed down to Cary, North Carolina, for a visit. All those hearts tell me maybe you're not that far from Cary. I don't know much about it. I've been to Charlotte. I've been to Gastonia or whatever it is, where the racetrack is. I've talked about that before. Linda Daly, I think maybe we've had you before, but not on a daily basis. All those jokes, right? Good afternoon, Petal. Well, now I realize it's Petal Love. You've heard of Muskrat Love? This is Petal Love. And then every time you say Petal Love, Linda, you make me think of that Kevin Spacey movie where the underage girl who he's fantasizing about is laying in bed and she's covered with rose petals. And he's fantasizing all these petals dropping down from the sky. It's true. That's the movie I think of, American Beauty. And at the last minute, he comes to his senses. Might not have happened if this were real life and not a movie. Just saying. Love Kevin Spacey. He was acquitted both times. I want to see him back on the big screen. I don't give a flip what other people think. That's my favorite actor there. If you're found innocent, if you're found out in one of the trials, they deleted all the text that would help you, and the kid didn't want to testify, who was now a grown young man, but mommy, the news anchor, wants to testify for him, and nail Kevin Spacey. Screw that. Screw that. You leave my Kevin Spacey alone. And let's take a look at your life. Let's take a look and see all the sins you've committed. We're going to put it on the big screen. We're going to put, oh, could you imagine if we could do that with people that are so self-righteous? So self-righteous, Neo, right? Cary is just outside of Raleigh. Is it really? Well, I did a fair in Raleigh. Thank you for that information, Neo Lights. Yeah, not neon lights, but Neo lights. It's a special kind of lighting that Neo created. Yeah, I did the wasn't we didn't do the Raleigh Fair. This goes back to my second ex-wife, the professional clown. I was married to a real clown, folks, and I was the manager, I was the sound guy, I was the booking agent, I was everything. I was everything. But one day, through a text message, that all ended. Oh well. Um, Love her, and I don't have any ill feelings. Um, there are some things I could never tell an ex-spouse, and drop dead is one of them. Hi, Philip. See, I knew we'd get different people coming on, and I so appreciate the regulars, though. They're here through thick and thin. What does that mean, through thick and thin? I never really thought of that. Philip? Phyllis? Good morning, Jack, and everyone. Good morning to you, Philip. Where are you watching us from? Are you retired, or are you partly retired? A lot of people are partly retired. I don't think if it's possible, um, anybody should be partly retired. Uh, I meant fully retired because you got to do something. You got to get out there. Besides doing your walking, Patty, how are you feeling? I've got more than one Patty, but I think um, you messaged us and told us about your situation. Am I right about that? Um, we'll be glad to talk to you about that if you should want, and we won't if you don't. Patrick Phyllis, yeah, same good morning text. Yes, good morning, Starshine. Not a morning person, but I'm here. I was going to make hay while the sun shines and tell you to tomorrow night, Saturday night, May 11th, is the big show, Worldwide Ramblings. Um, and we'd love to have you join us for that. But that doesn't work for everybody's time schedule. There's always the replay, though, and the audience in the replay is much bigger, much bigger. So, hello, replay crowd. Let me say that. No thanks. I don't want a weather update. Let me get rid of that on my screen. I don't think you can see that, but it's annoying me. No, thank you. Go away, Renee. But if you're listening, viewing, I'm not on the radio anymore. I'm on the video. I'm on YouTube. Hello, Google people. Melissa VD, kids are the early birds here. Yeah, I don't usually see this time of the day per se. Um, I get up around 10 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time. Sometimes I've been known, especially if I get up and I want to check my stocks, which I only have one stock right now. I have Donald Trump stock. I'm going to be honest with you. And, it went up, then it went way down, and now it's coming back up again. So I have all my eggs in one basket right now, and I don't have much money for stocks. I don't have much money for Robinhood. So I have my DJT stock on Robinhood, and I would strongly recommend that you be very careful if you buy stocks. I think I better be very careful what I'm saying here. I'm not influencing anybody. You do what feels right in your hat. In your hat. You pack the cat in the yard and you focus on your hat. What can I do for other people? Ask not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country? And it would be a good time because our country's on fire. Fire. We've got a zombie leading us who is in 2019 said we would never go against our most loyal ally ever, Israel, and then is on with Erin Burnett, who's for once is trying to redeem any sense of news credibility that she might have had at one time. and she is saying, she's asking him tough questions, and he's sitting there stunned. I thought this was going to be a softball interview, like, what's your favorite ice cream? Tell me about one of these stories that never happened, like your uncle was eaten by cannibals. I've got them all ready. I've got all these lines ready, and you're asking me real questions. If I wanted real questions, I'd go on Fox News. You know, when I come on MSNBC, I know they're going to treat me right. Joe Scarborough's going to kiss my butt. There's no integrity, in my opinion, left in Joe and Mika and the rest of them, including Nicole Wallace, who I used to love. I thought she was a woman of Christian faith. Now she chases the people and adores the people who take a pee-pee on the scriptures. Oh my goodness! Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Not good for my blood pressure. I haven't taken my blood pressure pill yet. I don't usually take it this early, but now it's almost 10 to 9 in the morning. So soon I will take my metoprolol. I got it in my pocket. I got it in my pocket because I thought I was going to be out there with Charlie and Miss Yvette. And there's like a 3.5 hour wait. And I was going to sleep. I had my pillow in my hand when I came out the door this morning, and I look over to the driveway next door to me, and Mrs. Charlie's car is gone. It's gone. You don't understand. It's gone. That's the relaxing sleep commercial, is it? No, that's the other one. Relief Factor. Relief Factor. So I got my metoprolol. I'll take that soon. That lowers your heart rate, and it's very good for your blood pressure. Um, so what's going on with you guys? What are you doing up at this hour? And of course, for some of you, it's the afternoon, it's the evening. We're heard and seen all over the world. Oh, Toledo, holy Toledo, Philip, you're in Toledo, Ohio, huh? I don't know that I've been to Toledo. I've definitely been through Cleveland on a Greyhound bus. I've been to parts of Ohio when I was doing the clown gig. I wasn't a clown, remember? I was everything else that went around with it. Um, don't think we played a fair in Toledo, but really close to the border we did. Um, I love the Hearts. If you go to Raleigh, Smithfield is not far from there, about 30 minutes. They have an outlet mall there. Well, you're really rocking. And we all know those outlet malls in 2024 are the most popular they've ever been. Nobody buys Amazon in Smithfield. Nobody. No Amazon trucks can be found. They all go to the outlet mall. No, I love those things. Like when we go up to Maine, I got to go to Madden's. I got to go to Madden's. Probably going to go to Maine the third week in July. Am I going to Benton? I'll talk a little bit about that. I should say, well, Benton is one thing, but the special event in Hot Springs is another. Jack, I did tell you in chat that I'm in hospice. Yes, my affairs are in order, and most of all is my relationship with God firm and true. Um, I would hope that you are counting on the blood of Jesus Christ. Um, that would be my bias. I have to say that because, um, that's just part of it. No one comes to the Father but on through, th- uh, th- but through me, said Jesus. No one comes to the Father but through me. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. God decided to give us his very best gift, his son, Jesus Christ. So everybody pray for Patty. She says she's got peace, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful. We're all going to be where you are. Some of us, in a very short time. You never know. I've got a defibrillator in my chest. It's just in case, not the programmer that is my competition. Not that just in case. And I worked with it just in case. It wasn't his real name either. But yeah. So Patty, I just pray that God's love overwhelms you. Yes, sir. Yes. Uh, there's power, power, power in the blood, the precious blood of the Lamb. 21 watching here at this early morning hour for me. If you're in California, it's really early. Well, West Coast time is 10 minutes to 6, right? Do we have any Californians watching? Hmm. We may have some people that work the midnight to 8 shift East Coast time and are just back. Same here. I have the same hours as you. Just fell asleep from real. I fell asleep real early last night. See, I can't do that mostly. Sometimes I could do it in the afternoon. Sometimes I do it in the recliner. That happened yesterday. Karen said, "Oh, you were sleeping real good there in the recliner." I was moving around a little bit, and you still didn't hear me. Yeah. So I went to the closet and got a revolver, and then I thought better of it. No. God bless you, Patty. You know, I follow this EC Stilson on Facebook. Everybody should. She has terminal cancer, and she, the pain. She's done so many innovative things to keep alive. She's a beautiful young lady. And it's getting to the point where, she realizes she's going to lose this battle. She's already extended her life past what they said it would be. And it's real tough, it's real tough. But she so wants to see her young children grow up. And there's things I just don't understand. I don't understand these things, but that's in God's hands. It's either Jesus or it's nobody. There's no Allah waiting for you on the other corner. That's my personal opinion. um, Waiting for you on the other side. Buddha's in the ground dead, etc., etc. Um, so prayers for Patty. Yes, please do that. Um, because you've been with us for a long time now. Even Stefan found us hijacking everyone. Good morning. Wait a minute. Yeah, it is Stefan, not Stephanie. It's Stefan. I know you. We always see you on Saturday nights for Worldwide Ramblings. Almost don't feel the pressure if you got something to do. There's always the replay. Hi, replay crowd. Please subscribe and like if you can. Um, this is becoming like the biggest thing I got right now is the live shows. So I've got to do more of them. I feel like uh, don't get me wrong, I enjoy this and I am always so appreciative of the people that join me and we have fun together. But right now I feel like I'm clawing my way to some kind of success because this supplements my retirement income. I'll be honest with you. It supplements my retirement button. I don't have a thanks button here or anything like that yet. I have, that one topic that people respond to, and we've been doing it for a while. So sometimes I'll put up a video like I just did, and I'll expect it to be bigger than it turns out to be. And that's a downer, because I rely on that. I rely on those pre-recorded videos. Um, the verdict, our most popular video, is 155,000 now. 155,000. But I can't believe someone will take some work that somebody else did, say 4 minutes of Lisa Marie 4 days before their death. And I'm not begrudging any of this. Way to go. Way to go. You know, you can say that's fair use if it's that short of a video. You're not just, taking someone's whole video per se, although in this case you might be. And it got 1 million views of Lisa Marie at her father's birthday party in January. January. And she's just walking in and standing by the stage. That's 1 million views. And there are people that get that all the time. People that put up, the women in the bathing suits and what have you that don't have too much material in the back end of the bathing suit, and etc. 3.5 million views. They're set, man. They don't have to go to work. That's a good payday, you know? I could use some of that. So when people say, "Are you going to, Hot Springs?" Right now, I am fighting to make this channel more successful, and that's all I can think about. That's not all I can think about. I can think about Karen, you know, who I wanna spend quality time with. I can think about, even more important than all of that, spending quality time with God and maybe denying my flesh more than I deny it now. I've never been good at that. Never been good at that. If not now, when? If not now, when? So I'm not ruling out Hot Springs. Um, Gene Ho invited me, but there's a lot of expense for me involved with that. You know, oh, well, just fly to Little Rock and rent a car and then use that same car and go to Texas and see your son. Imagine the rental miles on that. Can you imagine? I don't have that kind of money, you know. I have I stay in Motel 6s. I do when we do the main vacation, I don't know what it's gonna be this year. I'm gonna look into that real soon, and I'm not gonna cancel that to go to Arkansas because 'cause I'm with Karen there. It's cool in Maine. She likes that. I couldn't get her to, like, Myrtle Beach at this time of the year, which would be much more expensive to stay there. Um I'm not gonna cancel that precious time with Karen. I'm not gonna do that, and I can't get her to Hot Springs. Uh, Entertain driving. I have done it before. I passed by the Benton exit when I was coming back from, Austin, Texas, where, my, son lives now and, has been living for a number of years, and, so I have made the drive, but not in August, 100 and something degrees, it's hot there now. But, you fly into Little Rock and you rent a car and you if that's in your budget, that's great. There's a lot of people that are not that far from Arkansas as I am here in New York. So I'm not making a commitment. I would, at one level, love to be there. I know I'd run into some Elvis protectors who would want to give me a piece of their mind. That's cool as long as they don't get violent, right? Do I need a bodyguard, Debbie Inglis? Prayers for Patty. Amen. That is the most important thing here. Please do pray for Patty. Little Becky, hi. Jack from the sunny South. Sunny there today, dreary here in New York. It says 45 degrees. It's warmer than that. This hasn't been updated. Light rain. Um, we had now it's saying 48. Um, it's all over the board. Even Richard Lyon is popping on to pop off. What's Jack? Well, Jack is a complex person. He's very complex. There's many different sides to Jack. There really is. Many different creative sides and um, some that wouldn't be even good for this particular channel. You know, hint, hint. Um, all I can say is someone asked me once, you have a really great voice and everything. Have you ever thought about doing audio books? Have you ever thought about reading, you know, something that would be on, say, Kindle or wherever? And I said, yeah, I have thought about that, but I don't have that ultra multi-million dollar voice um, that that you may think I have. I like that you say I have a soothing voice. And that's good. I mean, people have complimented me throughout my radio career on my voice, but then I say that guy over there, like we have a guy here in the Hudson Valley, Rich Van Ritchie. I got to meet him and kind of work with him when I was doing fill-in voice tracking. He was the morning man. Karen came with me, and we took pictures with Van Ritchie. There he is. I'm looking at him right now. One day I'll show you Van Ritchie, but he's got that $1 million voice. And although he spent a good time doing morning shows here in various stations in the Hudson Valley, including Poughkeepsie, he was the voice of the Golf Channel for a number of years. That was a really good gig. He had to move to Florida for that. He was the voice of the Golf Channel, and he has done many national spots. Many. He has a home studio, better than this one, and he has done many national spots. White House defends Biden's Israel ultimatum. Yeah, there you go. I have never been so disappointed in a president of the United States. I never thought he was that bad or would be that bad. I never thought that it would be this level, that this very old man in cognitive decline, who now John Fetterman has much more cognitive ability than the president of the United States. And did we ever really pray for John Fetterman when him and his hoodie won over Dr. Oz? I was so upset that Pennsylvania made what I thought was such a stupid choice, and they've done that before. And I love Pennsylvania. I'm very close to Pennsylvania physically. Um, I was so upset to see that. Oz would have been pretty good. He would have been upset to see that. Oz would have been pretty good. He would have been pretty good. Hi, Linda Daly. Prayers. Oh yeah, prayers for Patty. God bless you. Everybody's saying that. So that is wonderful. Oklahoma is between Arkansas and Texas, so the drive is not quite as far. Yeah, that's good, Nancy. I'm not ruling it out. Something in my gut tells me not to rule it out, but I'm looking at the numbers for like the latest video. One mistake I made, and I have to remember this. I should know this now. When I do the pre-recorded videos, I'm talking to a lot of people that normally don't watch me. They are not the core audience. They are not the loyal people here in the live stream. I've got to say my name, if I even say it, and go right to content. I can't babble for 2 or 3 minutes even. I've lost them. See. Because we have a couple of really good things in that new video. We have one of I'm not going to say her name because she didn't tell me I should. I would if she did. But she sent me this comparison of Elvis's arm and Bob Joyce's arm. We roll in those pictures. It's quite something. It's quite compelling because there's a significant indentation. So watch that video. Elvis returning in 2024. This is just a tip of the iceberg, possibly, of this story. And we play for you to see the Gene Ho spot on the Hot Springs event, George Magazine Live, coming to Hot Springs on the 10th and 11th. And we tell you all about that, give you the promo code. So, we say some good things in there, but yet in the big picture so far, it's a miss. And you rely on those pre-recorded videos. The verdict still makes money for me. It still makes money, but it's past its prime, but it'll go eventually up to 160,000 views. But 500,000 I do not know. I do not know what that feels like. And so, the deal is that I have to supplement my income. I can't go to these places and increase the budget and start spending airfare and stuff like that if I've got to max out my credit cards to do it. I have a really good credit rating. I never had that for years. Nobody ever offered me a credit card. It was one of those, hey, you put $500 into the account and we'll call that your credit card, and that'll build your credit and you'll be able to get a real credit card. Well, now every other week, Citibank and Wells Fargo. What dropped? Something fell. Every other week, I'm getting offers from the same people. I have just a few cards. I pay more than the minimum payment because that's death when you do that. You're done. You're done. You're toast. Toast is good in the morning, right? A little bit with some fine, real good jam. Jimmy maybe found us at this hour. This is a surprise. I'm just as surprised as you. You're just coming on, Charlie. I was supposed to be right now at the eye surgery center in Cornwall with the Haitian couple that lives next door about 8 days ago because they I already took her for the one eye, and I took Charlie for one eye, and I'm thinking, "Gee, Charlie's got another eye. This could be 2 more times I would take them anywhere in the afternoon except the New York airports. I've decided I'm not going down there anymore. Well, we have a governor who's not protecting the city, who's just adding more expense to people with things like, um, the, special, tolls if you go into mid-city, uh, crime out of control. DA Bragg couldn't care less about the crime. He just reduces it to, so everybody has figured out that you can go up to anybody you see in the street in New York City and punch them in the face, and there'll be no consequences. You can take their pocketbook, you can do whatever. So if that's the way it is in New York, no, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not going down to New York City. No, not doing it. And I think a lot of people feel the same way I do. You're not going to be able, sir, you 60 some year old man, you're not going to be able to protect your wife when a brood of vipers that just robbed a local bodega or walked into Neiman Marcus and took the most expensive things, got away with it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Who would want to be a cop now? Many of them stay back. They don't pull over speeders anymore in this city that I live in like they used to. I live on a busy street. Almost never see them. Never see them. And of course, motorcycle season has begun. So they'll be going up and down here 50 miles an hour, and they never get chased. They never get chased. I understand not chasing them because it can lead to a catastrophe, but I know where they're coming from. They're coming from Otisville, New York, many of them. And you can do a little detective work and you can stop this, but they don't. They don't. Um, you can almost kill someone and just get an appearance ticket. In fact, that has happened. That has happened. What do you think about all I still have the tickle in my throat, but doc says my lungs are clear. Um, maybe I'll get a nebulizer. I'll feel like I'm 8 years old. Super chats could help you get there. Did you say that to me before, or was that someone else? Um, in two sentences, explain what super chats are, because if it means in real time, um, then I'm not doing content if I'm looking over there, you know? There are people that wanna hear content, and I'm not doing much of it on this pop on to pop off, but I do have some things. And of course, I put a James Gregory tribute. Anybody know who James Gregory is? Uh, he billed himself as the funniest man in America, and he died yesterday. He had gigs tonight, tomorrow. He had gigs all weekend down south, Tennessee, South Carolina, Missouri, um, uh, Louisiana, big in Louisiana. I don't know if you've ever seen this man, but watch his videos. Um, I don't know if you can see this. There's James Gregory. James Gregory. Clean comic for the most part. Clean comic. Talked about the things that exasperated him a lot, you know. Um, was very heavy, then lost a bunch of weight, and I was suspicious about that because that could mean that he's really sick, and I think he has been sick for a while. He'd say, if it looks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's a damn duck. It's a damn duck. He told so many funny stories and related very well to the absurdities in life, especially with the young people and what have you. And oh, here's the president. President Donald Trump. That's file footage, though. He often makes remarks. There's Michael Cohen. Oh boy, he's got his work cut out for him. Already, this whole thing should be a mistrial. It should have never happened. They took D.A. Bragg, who's not worried about people being pushed in front of trains and stuff like that, or people destroying stores, going in and taking what they want. As long as you don't steal over $1,000, you won't see any real time for it. So why not do it, right? If you're a punk. And so he takes what really was a bookkeeping error, put in the wrong column, and turns it into 34 felonies. Everybody knows this will be overturned on appeal, but hopefully there will be one sensible juror that will acquit Donald Trump. This is ridiculous. It would have never been brought. We're seeing horror stories coming out of the progressive wing. As Trump says, our problem is on the left, not the right. It's the right people that want to right this country. And many, many minorities see that. Black people love President Trump. They do. And what Jewish person would vote for Joe Biden now? What Jewish person? I'm not saying we shouldn't be careful in Gaza and try not to bomb those poor civilians, those kids, and what have you. But Hamas just hangs out right there with them. They'll put bombs in schools there. And if you stop and don't go into Rafah, they'll just rebuild like Al Qaeda and what have you. If you don't finish the job, they will rebuild and there'll be another October 7th. They'd like to have 1,000 more. That's what our kids are saying in the streets. Jew-hating kids who were taught from day one to hate the Jews. We're gone back to the 1930s, folks. I don't want to be heavy with you, but for goodness sakes. So I've heard about, super chats and getting a thanks button in and what have you. It's a little, how do I say this? It's not so easy of a decision when you have that one topic that people love, and that topic has an expiration date. I have an expiration date. Pastor Bob has an expiration date. I'm going to say some things either in a pre-recorded video or Saturday night, and I'll expound on it Saturday night for Worldwide Ramblings tomorrow night at 10:30 East Coast time, the 11th of May, 2024. If you're seeing this later, just go to our live section. If you're watching this in June, July, or some other time, go to our live section and look for the May 11th live show. But don't do that now. I haven't done it yet. I have not done it yet. Okay, Jimmy maybe knows James Gregory. He was so funny, wasn't he? He was so funny. I could watch him, and then in his later years, he was sitting down in a chair and what have you. But, you'd see him when he was in his prime with his huge belly, and he'd be talking about the Golden Corral and all that stuff. And I thought, oh man, you're really fun to watch, but I'm worried about you. I'm worried about you. And he had a gig tonight. He had a gig all weekend, Saturday, Sunday, in 3 different places. I looked at, if you go to James Gregory, I think that's off his site, The Funniest Man in America, and you'll see his tour dates for this weekend and for the weeks to come. He had a lot of tour dates coming, so it's a real loss. But he was unique, and he drew an older audience, and they loved him. They loved him. Rest in peace, James Gregory, which really means I hope you're in the presence of God. You were a Christian man, I believe. You talked about that. So we have 22 people watching. If you haven't signed in here and let me know where you're watching from, please do. You can even make up a name. I always like to know where you're watching from. It's an ego thing, Oh, I'm being seen in Venezuela. I didn't think you were allowed to watch YouTube in Venezuela. You ever been to Busch Gardens? When I was much younger lad, we might have taken our children, my first wife and I, and mother of my children, lovely woman. We might have taken them to Busch Gardens. Yeah, Oh, I've been to Busch Gardens, there's no doubt about it, but it's been, 2 or 3 dogs' ages. It's been, 2 or 3 dogs' ages, you know? Yeah. We went down and did the whole Florida thing with the kids more than once. We went to Disney World and Universal, and, we took that, tram tour at Universal and saw all the, movie, sets, including the facades of the houses that we knew so well, like the Munsters house and Dr. Welby, MD, and we saw the Bates, mansion and the motel down the hill from the mansion. That was very cool. And we saw Jaws because the tram goes in the water at one point. Jaws came up to say hello. That was cool. Yeah, I loved it. And went to the Back to the Future. Um, uh, well, you can't call it an exhibit because it's like a ride. You're not really going anywhere in the cart that you're in, like a roller coaster car, but there's all these screens and you feel like you're flying through space. They took that down now because let's face it, it's been a long time since Back to the Future. So thank you, Richard Lyon, for popping on to pop off. Um, yeah, it's a big trip, Nancy DeMarco, for me to go to Hot Springs, Arkansas. And when I go to Texas, I never go in the dead of summer. I mean, it was like 110, 115 degrees last summer in Texas. Um, God, I got a standing invitation from one of our people that lives in Round Rock, which is a place I'm very familiar with, the Sirloin Stockade. I've been there, and they go there and said, "We will come on, you got come on." So sweet. Even offered me a place to stay there, because the kids have gone to college. That's very nice. Who knows? Who knows? Because I have to get out there to see my son. So that could happen. Um, Hopefully, we all last way past our expiration date and don't end up sour. LOL. I don't think we can go a minute past our expiration date, but I know what you're saying. You look at this product, and it says that it expired last month or 2 months ago, and you're thinking, this is still good, right? This is still good. And I'm always worried about expiration dates, but not when it's most important, Karen says, which is when I'm in the supermarket and I just grab something and she'll say, "Oh, you could have done better than this. This milk expires in 4 days." And I'm finding, I don't know, is anybody else finding this? The milk doesn't last to the expiration date anymore. And our refrigerator is pretty cold, but like 2 or 3 days before, I'm throwing out, I only buy milk in quarts now because we just don't use it that much. We do use half and half. So what I do is I take the 2% milk and I put that in my tea, and then I just put a dollop of cream, because I'm well aware that half and half is higher calories, and I've been told I need to lose a few pounds. Back to the Future is still a great trilogy. It's classic, Neo. Wish I had been able to ride that ride. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. You really weren't going anywhere. The thing was shaking back and forth. You felt like you were going through space, and um, Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown, did a special video for that ride. You know, Michael wasn't in it. I don't think it was Doc Brown, and he recorded something special that you would see when you went into the Back to the Future ride. Christopher Lloyd is still with us, has an incredible fan base. People just love him everywhere he goes. You know, when Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox on a special Jimmy Kimmel in a bigger theater than usual. They got the DeLorean and they just show up on the stage in a puff of smoke in the DeLorean. Say this was back in, I don't know, 2005 or something, whenever it was. The love that came. They just had to stop talking. And Christopher Lloyd looked into the audience, all standing to their feet with this like this amazement at the adoration that was coming their way. People just two of the most beloved movie characters ever. And of course, then there's Michael J. Fox and his body of work, and Christopher Lloyd and his body of work. He played the movie version in My Favorite Martian. He played Uncle Martin, the Martian, and so many things Christopher Lloyd has been, and Michael J. Fox too. Michael's hanging on there, but it's getting harder, he says. Um, so, oh, you've seen the video from the ride. Biff was in it, huh? Tom Wilson. Yeah. Tom does the fan conventions these days. My friend Tina Ramos goes to all of them. And I have a picture back there of Tina with Tom Wilson. I'll bring it forward for tomorrow night's show. I'll show you Tom Wilson, Biff, with my friend Tina Ramos. I don't think she would have mind. I don't think she would have mind that. Would I mind that? Time for another cough drop. I feel fine, but this cough is lingering. Um, yes, I do the hot tea and the lemon and stuff like that, and I do quercetin, um, which is the kind that is for people that have high blood pressure. And mine is well under control thanks to metoprolol, but also I'm a pre-diabetic. My doctor tells me, pre-diabetic. But my numbers are fine in terms of taking my blood sugar. So you have to worry about all these things at this age, but it's all in God's hands. He controls my next breath. I can have them put in a defibrillator, and they did, which is also a pacemaker. It's very multifaceted, my defibrillator. I mean, I think it'll even give me a warning. Should I be going 65 on the throughway? um, you'll feel that the pacemaker is coming to work and it's trying to regulate an irregular heartbeat. Something's wrong and it's going to try to regulate it. So I think you'll have time at that point to say, I got to pull over here if you're driving. And if that doesn't work, it's going to shock your heart. The defibrillator is going to kick in. And I'm told it's like you're in kickboxing class and someone just kicked you right here. It's going to be, oh my God. Some people have even blacked out at that point, you know, only to wake up and see that they're still breathing. Um, but if all else fails, it plays taps. I think that's versatile. I think that's versatile. Da 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 da. I would rather it be Another One Bites the Dust, because that is the thing that some CPR classes use when they're teaching you how to do the compressions. They play Another One Bites the Dust because the rhythm is just perfect. That is funny stuff right there. I'll tell you, that's funny. Oh man, he was a Klingon, Christopher Lloyd, in which version? Which version? Catherine Lee Scott was in Star Trek. I think the very last version they did it. That's Maggie Evans from Dark Shadows, who we have seen at Lyndhurst Mansion in Tarrytown several times. But it's the big Dark Shadows Remembrance, the last one they'll ever be. They're not calling it a convention, they're calling it a remembrance. But it's in Burbank, California, July 5th and 6th. Do you know how much Karen and I want to go to that? But my God, between the airfare and the hotels, the conference itself isn't that expensive. It's kind of like what's happening in Hot Springs. One day is free. The Sunday Hot Springs church service with Pastor Bob Joyce, and there'll be a baptism that follows. That's all free. And it's not at the Hot Springs Convention Center as we originally thought. It's at the Horner Hall Theater, which George Magazine is renting out. So if you go to that, please put a lot of money in the box there because, this is costing. Ministry events cost, speakers cost. Um, they rely on those fees. Some ministers will do both. They'll give you a chance to do a love offering as well because you can't outgive God if you're giving with a pure heart. So when people say, well, they shouldn't charge for the gospel, that's not really correct. That's not really correct. Um, and these are the same people, and some of them, and not maybe not the person who said that. They'll when the basket comes around, or if it's a box, they'll throw in $3 and think they've done something. They're tipping God, you know. They'll spend $25 at McDonald's, and then they'll tip God $3. You know, we are nuts. We are nuts. So it does cost. Gail George found us, and it's so early she's wearing her sunglasses from Tennessee. Tennessee. I love Tennessee. I haven't been there enough. Been to Nashville once. The only time I was in Memphis was on a Greyhound bus, and we were going. I would think I was going to California. I think I was going to Florida. I think I was going to California. What we were doing in Memphis, I'm not sure. I've never been to Graceland, never been. I'm not that kind of Elvis fan. With that said, I would like to go to Graceland. I've kind of seen it, but I would like to go. Um, but we got to Memphis, and these really brutal looking cops came on the bus with these German shepherds. They're looking for drugs on the bus that's just passing through. Obviously, the people that are getting off in Memphis, well, one of the dogs is this older woman who got off the bus, and the dogs went right for her. Now they're holding her back. She's not probably going to get bitten, but she was terrified. So that's the only experience I have of Memphis is these cops that came on the bus looking for marijuana, mostly, or something heavier, Coke or whatever, Pepsi, maybe. I don't know. I'm a Pepsi man myself, Pepsi Zero, but even that in moderation. Lots of people praying for Patty, who's in hospice care now. I have prayed, and we put some words up here and talk to Patty. So do that. Um, but hello and good morning. We have 20 people watching, 14 likes. Yes, please hit the like button. Wouldn't it be great if we had the same number of likes than we do people watching? That would be good. It helps a little bit, Um, but as I was saying earlier, for those that just tuned in, um, gotta get we gotta get things going up. My lack of technical ability has proved to be a real detriment. Now Andy comes in and rolls and stuff, but I feel I have to give him something for it. Obviously the worker is worth his hire, and so I see these people that just basically take somebody else's work and then get a million views, something like anything of Lisa Marie or something like that. Very, very popular. Kimberly Van Meter. Hi, Jack. Well, hello, Kimberly. I think you're a first timer. I don't remember a van meter before. You have a meter in your van? Well, I know you've been kidded about your name and people trying to make unfunny jokes like that. But think about me with a last name Willard. I mean, here it was in the 70s, and was it the 60s or the 70s, early 70s, and I'm going to school, and the movie Willard comes out, which is about a bunch of rats, real rats. There was no CGI jive, real rats. Now, the star of the movie is the rat tamer who has all these rats. That's Bruce Davidson. Wonderful actor, Bruce Davidson. You might remember him in the TV show Harry and the Hendersons, but he's done a lot of movies, and he recently, in the last few years, has done movies in his old age. I got to meet him right there in Hollywood, right by Vine Street. He had been to an event, and he came out, and people were surrounding him. And only a few of these autograph people are really going to know who Bruce Davidson is. They've seen his work, but I had seen the movie with Christy McNichol, who I had a mega crush on at the time. You guys know that story. There's a movie, Blinded by the Light, here. I show a clip from it, and I'm in it. I'm in the front row. You'll spot me, Blinded by the Light, and it stars Christy McNichol, who I met, of course, and along with her brother Jimmy. So Bruce Davidson came out, and I had my autograph book because I was living in Hollywood at that time, and you always keep your autograph book for somebody that's a favorite. So I waited my turn, and I said, "Hi, Mr. Davidson. It's an honor to meet you. I loved you in Summer of My German Soldier." He said, "Well, thank you very much. I enjoyed doing that." And so, you meet people everywhere when you live in Hollywood, but after a year of that, I had my fill and came back to New York and resumed my radio career. Um, Fred Willard was a popular actor. Met Fred. I've told this story, Neil. Um, so, in the year that I lived in Hollywood, they had this discount movie theater. 3 movies for $6, something like that. You could stay there, and homeless people, I'm sure, did. You could stay there for your $6. You could be there all day. They'd never know that you had already seen one of the movies once. Probably they just keep running them. So I go to the candy concession to get something, getting something to drink, and there's Fred Willard right there buying something as well. And I had my autograph book. I always had it. And nobody was really recognizing him. He had done some things like, by then he had done Fernwood Tonight, the Mary Hartman spinoff. And I said, "Hello, Fred Willard. Would you mind if I get your autograph? My last name is Willard, too. And I wonder if you get asked if you are related to that wrestler from the 50s, Jess Willard." He always says, "Oh, yeah, that happens all the time." And he was nice to meet me and everything like that. Fred Willard, a wonderful guy. Late Later on in his career, a movie theater would not be so kind to him because I guess he went to an adult theater and they tried to say he was being naughty, like the Pee Wee Herman thing or something. But those charges were dropped, I believe. But yeah, all those funny movies he did, right? Best in Show and so many with that same group of people, including Eugene Levy sometimes. Levy, one of the funniest men on screen, Eugene. You saw him in American Pie. That was funny stuff. His son is in bed with a beautiful girl, and he just barges in, and then her parents, who they are with, because they were coming for some reason, all of them are in um, in the kid's bedroom. They're covered up with bed clothes, with the sheets and the blankets. And he says, Eugene Levy says to the daughter's father, he says, "I didn't catch your daughter's name, but I hope my son did." Very funny man, Neil, right? He was on Roseanne, was he? Yeah, and Spinal Tap, sure. Yeah. Oh, big Fred Willard fan, and not just because we share the same last name. Rest in peace, Fred Willard, one of the best. So what else? So where are you from, Kimberly? Did you say? My maiden name was Schoonover. Schoonover. Oh, that's cool. I don't have a maiden name myself. Um, but welcome, welcome, welcome. I knew we'd get a few new people, and if you haven't checked in yet, please do. Um, so yeah, super chats, especially if I did a lot of lives, we might do that. I have a short video. Besides asking you to watch the new video, Trump, not Trump, 2024, The Return of Elvis. Please watch that video. About 1,400 or so people have, but I need more. I need more. And we have some roll-in video. We play the Hot Springs George Magazine spot. You'll get to see the video version, not just me playing the audio, where you'll see who's going to be there. And then we tell you at the end, if you use the promo code Gene, as in Gene Ho, Gene, lowercase, you'll save 15% off on the Saturday event, which is a paid event. Okay. And so, yeah, make sure Make sure if you think there's any kind of a discount that's gonna be offered to you, you know in advance, because someone was talking about one of the participants said that, there may be well, contact Donay, contact Donay, Clement. She's gonna be there. But I have a short video. Don't forget what you were gonna say, because you went off on a tangent. I do that all the time, and then I see the replay and I cringe. I never finished the story. But I have a short video right out there. Oops, almost dropped my cough drop. Right out there at the lilac bush or whatever it is. Beautiful right now, and it won't be for long. Those flowers don't last forever. But I have a 59-second short video talking about one of the guests, John B. Wells. Have you seen this man? Have you heard him? Oh my goodness. I thought it was like almost Art Bell reincarnated. It's a little different, but it's definitely a multi-million dollar voice that John B. Wells has. He's about 62, 63 years old now. He was the weekend co-host, which I never heard. I heard all the others when I used to be an all-night worker. I would listen to Coast AM, and I heard them all. Ian Punnett, George, the other, not George Norrie, but the other George that comes on from Las Vegas, sometimes on Sunday nights. But John B. Wells, I would like to hear some of his old Coast to Coast shows. He still does the topic. He still has a show, but it's on various radio stations. Usually it's on Dennis Prager's network, The Answer, like in Cleveland, Ohio. Right now, Dennis, not Dennis Franz, that's from NYPD Blue, Bob Franz, who sounds very much like Rush Limbaugh. I have 2 videos on Bob Franz up here, 1 or 2. Um, he's on right now, and he's just in Cleveland, but when he fills in for Dennis Prager, then you hear him nationally. But you can catch him. You can catch all these radio stations on the internet. So I believe John B. Wells is on the radio from like 9 to midnight East Coast time. And it's on YouTube live right here. It's called um, something to Caravan. No, Caravan to Midnight. Caravan to Midnight. Subscribe to John B. Wells and start watching him. But the interesting thing is, hi, Vicky Matthews. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're having a great day. You just made mine. Well, thank you very much. That's so kind to you. Oh, and we found out that Kimberly, van meter, she has a meter in her van. What do you do in this van, Kimberly? Just the most terrible thought just came to me. I'm sorry. I know you're not that kind of woman. I know. I know. It's a cake, but there's a hole in this cake. You don't eat no meat? You don't eat no meat? Oh, it's okay. I make lamb. I make lamb. You know what movie that's from. I haven't seen Greek Fat Wedding 3 yet. Unfortunately, Michael Constantine passed away before they could film it. But I got to see that. It must be cheaper now, but probably not free yet. That's okay. I'll spend a few dollars to see that. Maybe this weekend I'll see Greek Fat Wedding 3. Nina Vargas does a really good job. She writes them. So now I forgot oh yeah, I was talking about John B. Wells. Please watch the video. It's only 59 seconds short. I don't make money on the shorts, really. Pennies. Unless it goes to like 1 million views. But I talk about John B. Wells real quickly. He's coming to the George Magazine event in Hot Springs, Arkansas, August the 10th. He'll be one of the speakers. I'd love to see him speak. It's the most widest array of speakers I have ever seen coming to this. This could win a diversity award. It could. It's wild. And Bella Popa, who is her husband is speaking. The other Popa, they don't come to me. I'm forgetting my Popas, but they're both from Romania. And she is an actress. She's been in things, and she's a singer, and very beautiful, tell you that. And she's going to be singing, and her husband is going to be talking, And there's this guy, Scott McKay. Scott McKay, I saw some of his work. I was looking at everybody that's going to be there. I've seen Amanda already, and I'll probably see some more. Um, but Scott McKay is a very good speaker, but he's an in-depth kind of teacher, in depth kind of teacher. So you know he's going to have to fight for attention span. I'm just going to be honest with you. So it would be really good. We probably should extend the offer. Um, for some of them to come on. I don't know if John B. Wells would take the time. He's doing radio like 5 days a week, but it's also TV. So watch that video, that short, where I say broadcast great John B. Wells coming to Hot Springs. That's the name of it. And it's only 59 seconds. People watch the whole thing. They got that much of an attention span, the general non-fan type people. But I hear this guy for the first time on his um, Caravan to Midnight right here on YouTube, because they air it live here. And he's got a camera in the studio. And if he's doing a Zoom, you can see the other person he's interviewing. But then he's got a chat going just like this with more people than I have right now. But, you know, not more than I would have on Saturday night, tomorrow night, when we do Worldwide Ramblings. But it's nothing about what's going on. These people just come in for like a club, and it happens in mine too. You know, they're talking to Brenda, whatever. And hey, I'm just glad they're here, and they talk to me too. But it doesn't necessarily mean if I'm doing content, they're going to comment on it. Well, in John B. Wells' case, they're just talking about anything but that. It's like a little club. They're talking about loading videos and this, they like this and they like that. A lot of tech talk and what have you. And I'm thinking, huh, huh. But you don't say, if you're not going to talk about the subject I'm talking about, you can't be here. I'll block you. You don't do that. So it's just kind of weird. Um, but check it out tonight, right here on YouTube Live, and subscribe to John B. Wells. Just find John B. Wells now and subscribe to him. Hit the notification bell, and you'll be able to see him. I think it's Monday through Friday, and it's Caravan to Midnight, and he's like today's Art Bell in a sense, sounding like Art Bell to a degree. He has a multi-million-dollar voice like James Earl Jones, and he's made a lot of money, I'm sure, doing voiceover commercials that are heard all over the world. So people say you got a great voice, and I appreciate that, but I want his voice because that voice makes a ton of money. It's just, you hear it and you say, as long as you can read the script and know how to emphasize it, you're hired. You're hired. And if you can't, we'll work with you. We want you to do our Ford commercial. Hi, Anna. Hello and good morning. We are here by accident, in a sense, because I was supposed to take the neighbors to eye surgery, and they just must have changed their plans and never told me. So all week long, I'm having anxiety, thinking I got to get up at 7 o'clock on Friday morning. Last night, I'm trying to go to sleep early. I didn't get to sleep till almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm taking double the medication I would do to calm my mind because, I'm thinking about everything from Worldwide Ramblings to my relationship with God. Notice I didn't put that in the right order. To um, you know, Karen and how I want to spend more quality time with her. And, the fact that she couldn't go to Hot Springs with me, that she certainly wouldn't make the drive if I did it that way. That's a factor, it's a factor. I'm not cutting out the very inexpensive Maine trip we do in July so I can go to Hot Springs. I have credit cards. I don't want to max them out. I pay more. I have a good rating For years, I had no rating. I mean, I was like, I don't know, below 600. Who knows? Nobody offered me a credit card, and then all of a sudden, things got a whole lot better. Not that my income went up that much, but that one of those charge-off debts was taken off my credit report. I never paid my Verizon. I broke the contract early, and I would never go with another phone company that requires a contract. You've got to earn my business every day. And why would I go with the expensive Verizon when you sell your towers to other companies and you even have, well, it used to be called Total Wireless, and it's all the Verizon towers. They bought that. They bought that. So, 63, $64 for two phones, and I'm using the Verizon towers anyway. I can figure that much out. Right, John Jeffries? Hi, good morning. How are you? Is it morning where you are, Jeff? I told you last time you have a name that reminds me of an actor on Dynasty. I remember I said that. Reminds me of an actor on Dynasty. I remember I said that because that's one of those things that sticks out, even though it's short-term memory involved. Um, Neo wants to know if you're German, Kimberly. Do you like strudel? And you are in Gallipolis. If there's a way to mispronounce it, Gallipolis, Ohio. Yeah, baby. Still got the itchy throat. It's not sore or anything. I got Fox News on in the back. If you haven't noticed, I brought the on-air sign up. I wanted to do it right. My Yankee cup, my Jimmy Stir T-shirt. Going to go see Jimmy May 19th in Clark, New Jersey at the Polish Club, 2 o'clock. If you're anywhere near Clark, New Jersey, please come and join us for the Jimmy Stir show in Clark, New Jersey. And the following week, he's in Pennsylvania. I don't have my Jimmy Stir schedule in front of me. I know if I did because I know it's back there in my book. I'll do a little bit of that Saturday night, but I realize not everybody's a polka fan. Jimmy does a whole lot more than polka. He does rock and roll, country, 18 Grammys, 18. So, yes, it's morning in PA. I guess it would be, right? Well, your John Fetterman sure is coming along there, isn't he? I can't believe it, John. I can't. I'm very happy to see that he has recovered from his stroke in many ways. He has cognitive ability again, and he's surprising those woke progressives by backing up the Republican Party on many issues like immigration, and also he's very pro-Israel. I wish he wouldn't wear the hoodie, but if he's going to vote like that, and if he's going to be a voice for, um, let's call him a conservative Democrat. Um, if he's going to do that, then I'm all for it, and we really should have prayed for him more than we did, instead of noting that he was a train wreck and thinking that he would be a progressive, because he's not. He's not. And you need some stability in your state. Your governor, I don't know what you were thinking about that. Um, it's almost as bad as the state of Illinois. But I'm happy for John Fetterman. And I love to see him stick it to the people that, oh, we thought you'd be our lapdog. We got you elected knowing that you were a cognitive mess, because we see it's not like people like Nadler and Adam Schiff and his Schiff show care anything about this country. I don't even have to go into Maxine Waters and the squad in Congress. No, They don't care anything about this country. They have an agenda. They hate America, and they certainly want to see those privileged white people, uh, you know, be knocked down a bunch of pegs. Well, most conservative Republicans that I know love black people. It's all based on your behavior as to how another person is going to feel about you. That doesn't mean you have license to hate anybody. And folks, I'm going to be real honest with you. I liked Obama. I disagreed with him on some things, but I liked him. I even had a tear in my eye when the man got elected, and I'm a Republican. But I thought he seems to be a pretty decent guy, and I saw why he picked Joe Biden because you got to get elected, and everybody felt Joe was safe. We didn't know who he really was at that time. It's still stunning to me. This will be a major motion picture down the road, probably, on who Joe Biden turned out to be. But anyway, I like Bill Clinton a lot. Uh, disagreed with like with Obama, disagreed with him on some things, but I thought, he's a lot better than his wife. And I felt okay with him leading the country. I liked both Bushes, George Bush Sr. and George Bush Jr. However, in both of their character and some of the things they did were things that are very suspicious. I'm not a conspiracy guy just because I do Bob Joyce. It's one topic that I really do like that. I might do another since everybody loves them, but I would make it clear that I'm just reporting what's out there. I can't find much about John F. Kennedy Jr. Give me 15 things, write them down in an email. Don't just tell me, oh yeah, I need more than that. Um, and I'm not eager to do that one. I'm not eager to do MJ either. Um, but and I'm certainly not going to do Lisa Marie or even leave those comments up or Princess Diana. That's a bridge too far. Sorry to yell. A bridge too far. It's a bridge too far. I talk about that in the how in my latest video, which I hope you have watched, clicked, and liked, and all that. Subscribe if you haven't. Um, I talk about how unique the Bob Joyce Elvis Presley story is. When you get to 60 coincidences, you find that many with Jim Morrison. You won't, and they just flow and flow and flow even in 2024. I talk about all that in that video. Is 2024 the year of the return of Elvis? I think it's a real possibility. So please, let's get more people watching that. It's the pre-recorded videos that I rely on to be able to do the live shows, which sometimes are pretty successful. The biggest live show we ever did was when I talked about Jerry Schilling, right, from the Memphis Mafia. Did he spill the beans about Elvis Presley? And then I talked about Bob Joyce hints in that video. I think it's got like 17,000 views for a live show. That's number one. That's number one. I've got a few that are, oh, 5, 10,000, that kind of thing. 17,000 for a live show for me is very, very good. You can go to see all these shows in the live section of our channel. And I'm gonna write that list in promo videos that we've done that I'm particularly proud of and urge you to watch them if you haven't. People find the verdict on their own. It's up to 155,000 views right now. But boy, I could use a million hits. But that's going to require a lot of rolling video and stuff. I know what people want, um, and I don't like to take other people's work. A little bit is fair use, but I don't want to do too much. What do you agree about, Vicky? You could be agreeing with somebody here. I don't know. Um, maybe you feel Star Trek was great. I'm not a Trekkie, but I certainly admired. Um, the actors, especially in the most classic version. The most amazing thing that William Shatner ever said in an interview in recent years was shortly after playing Captain Kirk for how many years? He was homeless, living in his truck, living William Shatner, who has a lot of money now, was homeless living in his truck. He had gone through a divorce. His wife had taken him to the cleaners, apparently. He didn't see that coming, and you didn't get paid what they get paid now. Like, yeah, when he does The Unexplained, which is a great show with William Shatner, he probably gets considerably more than he got when he played Captain Kirk all those years. He was literally homeless, showering at truck stops and things like that. Yeah. That's amazing. That's as amazing as Yogi Berra having to work at a men's clothing store in the off season to be able to eat because he wasn't making what the clowns make today. Some of them deserve a good paycheck, but I don't think any baseball player deserves a $500 million contract. No wonder it costs so much to go to Yankee Stadium. Give me a break. I know they should get more than Mickey Mantle got because the times they have changed, but give me a break. How long have we been on already? Almost an hour and a half. Time flies when I'm with the worldwide ramblings, or in this case, the pop on to pop off family. I thank you so much for dropping by. I have never been on at this time, never. But I was supposed to take the Haitian couple to eye surgery. She was going to have her other eye worked on, and they just forgot to tell me that that wasn't happening. I saw them in the driveway. I should have went right up to the men. You ever do this? You know at the time that you better make sure about something and you don't do it. And then I come out this morning, force myself out of bed. I had washed up last night, wet my hair down, and brushed my teeth. And I come out. I got my pillow because I know I'm going to be in that parking lot for like 3.5 hours, and I'm going to be tired. So I'll put the seat back. Um, Her husband's gonna be with us, and he might join me in the back of the car. That's weird, but, hey, he's tired too, and he goes to bed a lot earlier than I do. So I get out there, and I look over to their driveway, and I see her car gone. She's a bus monitor. She leaves at, like, 6 in the morning. So now I gotta say, Charlie, I'm gonna explain to him, me being out there at 7:30 in the morning, it's like I'm asking you to take me to my eye surgery, and my appointment's at 3 AM, which means we should leave at about 2 AM because it's like 35, 40 minutes to get there. Gotta get there early, so which means you gotta get up at 1:30. Can you do that for me? He'd say, "Are you crazy? I'm not getting up at 1:30 in the morning." That's what you're asking me to do when you ask me to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking about it all week. Oi, oi. All right, I won't say it anymore. But that's why I'm here. And I'm so happy. I said, I'm going to make use of this time because I can't go back to sleep right now. I will probably take a nap in the recliner. This, I think, is Colonial Diner Day. Homemade macaroni and cheese. I shouldn't have it, but I don't. I get a large portion, and then I eat some, and I bring the rest home, or maybe Karen will join me, and we'll share a large macaroni and cheese together, whatever else she wants, with our favorite waitress in the whole world, Carmen. Carmen. Robin Roman joins us. Good morning, Jack. Yeah, yeah. It's a good question you're posing. If I had done that video, Robin, in I don't know, 1979, I'd probably be able to tell you the content, but it sounds self-serving. But you need to go to the live section of our channel and find that video. It's got like 17,000 hits. It's our most successful live show, and watch because I don't have a clue what I said. That's some things stick out and some things don't because I tried to put some good information in there. Um, I had no idea this would become the most successful live show we ever did. So please check it out and like it. I would be honored if you do that. I just don't know what I said in there, and that's the God's honest truth. I have no idea. If you say, well, what kind of information did you lay out in the verdict? I could do a lot of that off the top of my head, but then I'd say, Just watch the verdict, just watch the verdict. But I would tell you if I knew, Robin. I really don't know. I don't know. Um, I don't know what my angle was on there. Um, Also, that video included Bob Joyce hints, recent hints that he had made, because everybody talks about this. And I'm going to talk about some of his comments from last week's sermon tomorrow night on Worldwide Ramblings. If I don't do it in a pre recorded video first, and then we'll just reflect on what I did. Um, but there's some things to say here, and I'm not sure whether I should say them. I mean, do I want to tick off the pastor anymore by saying some heartfelt thoughts? I will say this much. He has confirmed, he has recorded his biggest album in many years, and not in Memphis, as I had heard, but in Nashville, Tennessee, with a full orchestra. And the release date is mid-July. This pastor from this 100-seat church sure gets around. If he's not in Mar-a-Lago, he's in Nashville. In other places, he shouldn't really pop up. He pops on to pop off in the strangest places sometimes, this small town pastor. um, so, obviously, the next question is, what name will be on that CD? I'm going to talk about that a little more, what name I think should be on it tomorrow. Saturday, the 11th. So if you're tuning in late, Carmen Silva even joins us. Well, cool. Hi, Carmen from New Zealand. She's a hardworking woman who puts up a lot of videos. Check out her channel right here on YouTube. Um, she has a tech guy. I don't know if you're the tech guy, Carmen, but that's the kind of skills I need. Um, I need a tech crew. I don't want my two front teeth for Christmas because I already have a bridge. you know, why pretend that those are my real teeth? Louise, good morning, Jack and all. Where are you watching from, Louise? Louisiana? Wouldn't that be funny? So we've even got William Murphy uptown. No, why am I saying that? Like he's William Brown. He's William Murphy. Hi, Bill. Gonna marry me, Bill. Any woman ever say that to you? Like Marilyn McCoo? Do you even like to be called Bill? Probably not if you're William Murphy. William's a great name, isn't it? Yes. You're going to be King of England, King William, very soon. Not, he's picking out the drapes right now, I think. I hope the Princess Kate makes a full recovery. Seems like a very nice woman, unlike the other one, who doesn't seem very nice at all, but a spoiled brat. We're willing to forgive all, though, if you mature, because you're young. You're young. I mean, can you imagine you get this job on Deal or No Deal? You agree. You agree to be one of the women holding the cases with a dollar amount on it. And you're wearing, I guess you could say a provocative costume, and you sign up for that. And then you have to knock them in the face. Oh, that was sexist and all this. Give me a break. And of course, do they even have the swimsuit portion of the Miss America pageant? I'm all for them having Mr. America and he wears a swimsuit. You know, you can even have a transgender one if you want. Have your transgender pageant. It's a free country, but you can't take your clothes off, sir, with my 16-year-old daughter in the locker room. Thank you, Governor DeSantis, for making that clear. We're not going to follow that in Florida. That is the man who should be the vice presidential pick. The only thing is, Trump already has Florida wrapped up, and there may be a rule that it can't be two candidates from the same state. But Trump is a New Yorker. He built the New York skyline. So let's just say he's from New York and Ron DeSantis is from Florida. Ron DeSantis is the man I want to see president in 2028. 2028. He can't run for governor again. There's term limits. That should be overturned too. That's baloney. If you like your governor and you want to vote for him, fine. The problem is people vote for the same dweebs over and over. I just hope Adam Schiff doesn't become a senator in California. He shouldn't. He shouldn't be the porter down at Port Authority. What? Where did we vote for men of zero character? W- the people that sometimes vote in this country. Oh my goodness! I just can't believe it, Bill. You are new, aren't you? I don't always pontificate about politics, so don't run away if you don't like politics. I am, I am a conservative, but I have voted for Democrats. I used to love George McGovern and Ted Kennedy. Those were real Democrats. Now we've got a brood of vipers, a brood of vipers. You're from Lowell, Massachusetts. I've heard of that. It's not too far from Boston, right? Not as close as Cambridge, where those students are protesting. But I have been to certainly been to Boston. I've been to Salem. Karen loves Salem, and we took pictures in Salem. I've got a few of those. So I'm very glad you're here, Bill. I hope you'll join us tomorrow night for the big show, Worldwide Ramblings, at 10:30 your time, 10:30 p.m. East Coast time. Sometimes we go to 2 hours or so, and we go over 1,000 views, and sometimes over 17,000 views. And the replay, hello replay crowd, you're welcome to comment here, and we'll interact with you there. So I knew I'd find some new people. Nancy Campbell, not sure, I've never had you here, but I think it's been only one or two times. We don't like him either here in California. And what about this Governor Hair Gel? Why doesn't he just become a movie star? That's probably what he's meant to be. He could even be a James Bond, I suppose, although his face is kind of, it's kind of V-shaped. I don't know if he's Bond material, but he's certainly acting in the role of governor, but very badly, very badly. The thought, Nancy. Oh, Schiff, yeah, you're talking about people like Schiff and people like that. Yeah. Oh boy. Um, the thought that in the Democratic convention that's coming, there's a lot of Democrats and certainly a lot of progressives that do not want Joe Biden, and they don't want cackling Kamala Harris either. They would go for Gavin Newsom. And so at the last minute, the delegates pledged their support to Gavin Newsom, somebody like that. He'd be more of a challenge to Trump. He'd be more of a challenge. So I don't know what's going to happen. I know his hair is overrated. John Stamos has better hair, right? The preacher from Benton, Arkansas has better hair, doesn't he? So, I was starting to say on the air, people had said it also. Is that a hair piece? Is he wearing a partial piece? Because Elvis didn't have that much hair in the front or something, they were saying, whatever. And so Pastor Bob said, I'm going to prove to them it's not. I'm going to grow my hair out. So he shows up in Mar-a-Lago, and it's like, were you in Van Halen, Pastor, one time? Were you in the group Poison? No, it's his real hair. You can see it now. But yeah, you're right. His hair is overrated, but it is the thing that they go to joke about, because they talk about the amount of gel he wears in his hair. And we don't know how much gel he wears, do we? Do we know how much gel, Nancy Campbell? Gavin Newsom. I like that. I've never heard anybody use that. You might want to give that to Greg Gutfeld. Email Greg Gutfeld, because I don't think that's been brought up, but I could be wrong. I've never heard it on Fox. What are they talking about? Let's look at Fox right now. We got a Fox News alert. Police clear out anti-Israel camps at Penn GWU, George Washington University. They are clearing out those anti-Israel groups. If you're going to say what is clearly hate speech, like kill all the Jews, eliminate Israel, That is a crime. That's beyond free speech. You are advocating violence. If you are making Jewish students feel uncomfortable or even threatening them, they're going after the news crews now, too. These young punks need to go to jail, and we have to get rid of these DAs in California and New York that it's just a revolving door. They're laughing in your face and they come right back and do it again. Former White House aide says that Trump signed checks without looking at them during meetings. Yeah, very busy people do stuff like that. I mean, we all sign things and we have no idea what we're signing. It can be anything from a car loan. You want the car, right? You're not looking at all the fine print. We sign things and then comes back to haunt us. Well, you signed, sir. Yeah, under duress because I knew if I didn't sign this, you know, hey, if all you have is a pension and Social Security, they can sue you. They ain't gonna get anything. Just learn from O.J. Simpson. I'd say God rest his soul because I don't wish anybody in hell. I don't. If the blood of Christ, it's kind of like the presidential pardon is absolute. Can Biden pardon his son Hunter? Absolutely, he can, and he's going to probably. That's why he wants to stay because this thing is taking time. Now Hunter's gun charge, he's going to trial next month on it. But he knows he's got a get out of jail free card. We all know that. Jean Pierre, one of the most incompetents I've ever seen in that job, the most incompetent. Come on. Says no, he will not pardon his son. Bull feathers. Bull feathers, John Jeffries. You love Greg, do you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love him too, but the show is a little silly sometimes, and I'm usually watching Dark Shadows replays from the '60s then with Karen. That's our Dark Shadows time. I thought it was better at 11 o'clock. They shouldn't have messed with that. The great Trace Gallagher at midnight, he fills in a lot during the day too. I think if you're the king of late night, you got to be in late night. They should have left Gutfeld at 11 o'clock and left Laura at 10 o'clock. Obviously, Hannity at 9. Waters at 7 was great. And they should have never got rid of Tucker Carlson. They should have never got rid of Tucker Carlson. He's doing fine without them. And come January, he'll be able to work anywhere. But he's already, made it pretty clear that he wants to do his own thing and never work for anybody else again. When you're that rich, and he was rich as a kid, let's face it, he fits the preppy part 100%. But as much as I enjoy Tucker's work on X and his TCN work, the Tucker Carlson Network stream, which has got a long way to go in developing, it was just something about at 8 o'clock at night, the Tucker monologue for 15 minutes. He wrote it himself and then handed it to him, and they loaded it into teleprompter. Nobody at Fox ever told Tucker what to say. That was all him. And that first 10, 15 minutes. And there's nobody like Tucker Carlson. I don't always agree with him. I believe we should fully support Israel. With that said, you got to be careful when you're bombing as best you can. Don't bomb indiscriminately. 35,000 Gazans, many of them women and children killed. I understand that part of it. With that said, the Bible commands me to be in full support of Israel, and I am. I am. What they did, what those Palestinians did on October 7th is unconscionable. We can never forget that. And yes, they've got to go into Rafah to complete the job, but it should be foot patrols and try not to kill those families. Try not to kill innocent people. It's all right to say that, but when you start saying, "Well, I will withdraw arms and what have you," but I just gave $61 billion more to the Ukraine, which is a bombed-out shell for the most part. You can't win a war against Vladimir Putin. I don't know why more intelligent people don't realize that. He's got the best nukes. He presses the button, it's all over. He can send tactical nukes into Kyiv, but the reason Kyiv, for the most part, is still standing is because he doesn't want that wafting into Poland. He doesn't want to go into Poland. That's nonsense. He doesn't want World War III. He wanted the Ukraine and maybe a few other places around it, but Poland ain't one of them. That's all fear tactics. He's not that stupid. He knows World War III means the end of Russia too, that we will fire back. He doesn't want that. If you watch the Tucker interview, he's pretty clear about that. He's pretty clear about that. He's not that stupid. And by the way, if we had elected Donald Trump, none of that Ukraine, nothing would have happened, at least not while Trump was there. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, you radical progressives. Who looks like Laka from Taxi? Oh, yes, of course, that's Andy Kaufman, who was he was a wonderful Elvis, wasn't he, sorta? Yeah, it surprised everybody. Schiff for brains. Yes, we are so sick of the Schiff show. Made up the whole Russia collusion thing. Made it all up, and when they called him on it, was he did he have any kind of an ounce of character? They would go into these meetings where it would be perfectly made clear that Trump had nothing to do with Russian collusion, that was all made up. And one of the Republicans would turn to Adam Schiff and say, "See, there it is. It's all, there's nothing to this story. It's a nothing burger." And he would say, "No, no, it's there. You just have to be willing to see it." Because my whole reputation is on the line here. So when he gets called out, he says, "I will wear your censure as a badge of honor." Yes, wear it in, oh, I don't know, the former Yugoslavia. We used to have people of character in office, and it's becoming a scarce commodity. And that is sad. Adrian, I would love to read Bob Joyce's book when it comes out. Do you think, Adrian, the book should come out when he's dead, or should it come out now? I might take a poll Saturday night. I'm going to take a poll tomorrow night on Worldwide Ramblings on that very question. I'll write it down, because if I don't, I might forget it. Probably wouldn't forget that. Yeah, baby. Yes, I'm going to do that. Thank you, Adrian. You sparked that creative idea from me, and I thank you very much. Yeah, it's a real shift show with him. Do you think he's gonna become a senator? Is that going to be his reward? My goodness, when you see someone like Maxine Waters speak, and the hate that comes from her heart, the hate, you know, telling you, if you see anyone in Trump's cabinet out eating, you get in their face and yell. You tell them you're not welcome here. She should she should have lost her position over that, just like when Chuck Schumer from this very state, New York, threatened the Supreme Court on the Capitol stairs. He should have been thrown out. Yeah. So I love Greg on the 5, but I don't like Jessica Tarlov, who's on maternity leave right now. I like her. She seems like a nice enough person, but her views are abhorrent. And, I can't believe they haven't fired her, because she's nothing like Harold Ford. And by the way, since she's not there and they share her and Harold Ford, why don't I see much more of Harold Ford? These other speakers come on and they just get overwhelmed with their, they try to state their bull. If you're going to come on and say Joe Biden is a great president, they're going to knock you down, and they're not going to be so polite when they do it. So I'm glad you're here, Louise. I see those eyes. Um, Ella W is here, but maybe she's a foe, because both of her messages have been retracted. Maybe she's maybe she's reconsidering the rebuke she's going to give us. I don't know, Ella W. You've been here before. You're not Ella F, which means you can't be Ella Fitzgerald coming to us from beyond the grave. By the way, when Stormy Daniels said that, she speaks to dead people, well, heck, have you watched the Travel Channel? Have you watched Discovery? There's a lot of people doing that. Zach Bagans, who claims to be a Christian, he wears his cross and everything, um, but also deals with mediums, and that's in the Bible, Old Testament, that you shouldn't be hanging out with mediums. Um, you know, the idea that people can be some people maybe that didn't accept Christ as their savior are caught between two worlds for a while is not unfathomable to me. I've seen too much evidence that it's a strong possibility. So I don't discount that, but I don't go to mediums. The Bible says, "Don't let mediums, soothsayers, the people with tarot cards even be named among you." That doesn't mix with Christianity. If you're into that, you're not a Christian. You can't be, because there would be a immediate boom to your heart. It's like if you are a Christian and you are so exasperated, something has got you so enraged, and you take God's name in vain. It's like I took my fist and punched my own face, you know, punch myself in the face, and then I immediately beg God for forgiveness, because I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. I know Catholics, and I was raised Catholics. They use that name all the time, and I have to ask. I have to say, are you at all serious about your faith? Because if you're GDing and JCing, you're probably not a Christian, and you really ought to look at that. You can be the biggest sinner on the planet. We all sin and fall short of the glory of God. Even Paul admitted to current active sin, and he's talking about sexual sin in Romans 7, just like all guys struggle with. We have other things we sin with, but there's that. But if you can take God's name in vain and not feel a kick in your chest, I have to wonder if I'm talking to a Christian. Go back to square one. He's just a prayer away. Say, Lord, I'm so sorry for my sins. I accept Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior. I want to live with you forever. I ask that you cover me with your most precious blood from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. If you pray a prayer like that with your heart, I believe you will be saved. And no one will snatch you out of my hands, says the Lord Jesus Christ. Will I get his book? Will I get some more New York pizza, Adrian? Yeah, I would get his book. I definitely would get his book, but I don't want to wait till he dies to get it, and I could go before him, and then I'll really be shortchanged in the book department. So let's take a poll tomorrow. Do you believe Pastor Bob Joyce, who's been rumored to be writing this book? Maybe we'll take two polls tomorrow night on Worldwide Ramblings. First question is, Bob Joyce has made it official from the pulpit, something I've known for a while. I was saying Memphis because I was told Memphis, but it's Nashville. He has recorded the biggest album he has done. Let's say let me just pick a random decade, the 70s. I don't know why I said the 70s. You know, he has recorded the biggest album he has done. You could say ever, or you could say the 70s. You pick which feels right to you. I'm not here to tell you. Did he record an album in 1977, Carmen? Did he record an album? I don't know what album it was. Obviously, he left the scene one way or the other in August, and he was touring, and he was, in very bad health in 1977. I do believe he was very near death in August of 77, but I'm not so sure he passed away in August of 77. Not sure at all. Pedal, Linda. So let's do two polls tomorrow on Worldwide Ramblings. He has recorded with a full orchestra an album in Nashville, Tennessee. This pastor from a little church in Benton, Arkansas, who just went to Mar-a-Lago. Um, do What name should be listed as the artist on the new Bob Joyce CD on the Nashville recording? And if Pastor Bob Joyce is writing a book, should he wait till he dies to release it? Okay, those will be the two questions. The last album was recorded in '77. Now, if you see a movie and it says the movie is from 2019, it was done usually in 2018, unless you see it at the tail end of 2019. So I wonder if that would work with albums. He recorded it in '76, but released it in '77. Ella, you are going to speak now. I just text my girlfriend to confirm, and she told me that Pastor Bob Joyce will not release the book till his passing. Well, I don't know who your girlfriend is, but we're going to encourage him to release it before then. We're going to encourage him a little bit. Oh, boy. People say, oh, come to the church in Benton. He'd love to meet you. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure. Of course, he's gracious to all the visitors. And I'm not saying, oh, well, I'm this much different case, but I am this much different case. I'm not assured of that. Um, but he's such a wonderful man. The Spirit of God would probably tell him to be nice to me. And he would listen to the Holy Spirit. Or these big men would come and they would throw me out into the dirt. And then Pastor Bob Joyce would come out and he'd look down at me and he'd say, Jack, it appears you have left the building. My freckles are really showing here. It's not liver spots yet. I didn't go into makeup, Carmen. I should have gone into makeup like you do, So, it's nice what you say, but I can't say, well, now that problem's solved. Now, if your girlfriend is, somebody really in the know, or um, just you or her, email me and tell me. Jack the Fair Guy, FAIR, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. All right. Yeah. Who says no gay people watch me like I don't have an audience of all kinds of taste? How many people are bisexual? Come on. Let's take that poll. Doesn't mean you have to practice. I'm just saying that is everybody really bisexual? Boy, I didn't expect to get that controversial today. Oh, not me. I've never had a thought like that. I've never had a thought like that. Ron White, the redneck comedian from the redneck tour that he used to do. Of course, he's a superstar on his own now. He tells this funny story about this redneck guy. He likes to use the Q word and not in the positive way they seem to use it now. That's kind of interesting to me. LGBTQ, and what's the other one? But this this guy's talking about men that are of a certain way in a very negative connotation, and he says now I know why you retracted your comments, Ella. Um, he how disgusting that is. He says, well, you watch porn, Ron White says to him. And he says, well, you know that. You know I watch some porn. So do you just watch two women together then? He says, no, no. Going to be a little graphic here. I'm trying to alter it. Um, do you just watch two women together when you watch porn? No, no. I'll watch a man make love to a woman. I'll watch a man make love to a woman. And he says, and when you do you want the man to be of a certain way? uh, 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 like it's not going to be a successful mission. I'm sorry, I'm this close to the edge here in the morning, no less. And he says, no, I want him to. And then a look of horror comes on this redneck's face as he realizes for the first time when he watches porn, he's watching the woman, yes, but he's also watching the man. It's a classic Ron White bit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go there, but Ella, you motivated me. Um, so Jack the Fair Guy, FAIR, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. It's nice to make statements because other people have told me the very same thing, Ella, that he's going to wait till he dies. First of all, he could have a change of heart. And I really think he should, by the way. Second of all, it's like when I do these 60 coincidences why Bob may be Elvis, I try to back them all up. People come on here and say the most outrageous things, or they just say Bob Joyce is Elvis. Well, yeah, or Bob Joyce isn't Elvis, and I sometimes reply, "You see me do it. Could you please supply me with your extensive research?" Oh, you took 5 seconds to say Bob Joyce isn't Elvis. Oh. Well, then I'll just cancel the whole subject. And then there's the ones that I don't believe it, or I'm an Elvis protector and I want you to cancel the whole subject. It spans the gamut, folks. My goodness, we're coming to 2 hours. Isn't that amazing? Joseph Kelly comes in. Hi, Joseph. Good morning, all. Just had to break at work. You had a break at work. Yeah, you're a working man, taking what they're giving because you're working for a living, right? You load 15 pounds. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me because I can't go. I owe my soul to the company. Is it stole? What is it? I forget that last word. Um, yeah, was pretty busy this morning and saw you were live. Yeah, I was only live. I'm only live because I was supposed to be taking the Haitian couple to eye surgery, and and she just went to her job as a bus monitor at 6 a.m. They didn't think to tell me, oh, it's not happening this Friday like we told you. So all week long, I'm thinking, oh, I got to get up at 7 a.m. on Friday. I get like 2.5, 3 hours sleep. I got my pillow, I've cleaned up the night before and I push my hair back, brush my teeth, and I go out there and I look to the driveway and their car is not there. I wait around a little bit past the time they're supposed to come out and I realize that, oh man, now they're going to say, oh, well, it's next Friday, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I want to help you. I'll take you anywhere in the afternoon, but again, I don't ask you to take me on an appointment at 3 o'clock in the morning. You'd think I was nuts. 7 a.m. is my 3 o'clock in the morning or close to it, Joseph. I went to college with a girl who was trisexual. That's a joke, isn't it? She would try anything. Bum bum. I knew it was coming, John Jeffries from Dynasty. I'm confusing you with what's his name? Who am I thinking of when I say that? He was also in the spinoff. He was the star of the spinoff, which was the Covingtons, right? The Carringtons? The Carringtons? His name is John. John what? Can't think of his name. Yes, trisexual. And pansexual they got now, which I think means, none of the pans in the cupboard are safe when you're around. But I don't judge anybody here. The scripture, does not condone same-sex marriage and what have you. Um, don't be mad at me. Be mad at God. I believe the Bible is the true word of God. I do. So, but I am the last person to come on here. If you're looking for somebody to say, oh well, two women together, oh well, no, that's I that's terrible. Oh come on, like I've never entertained that thought. I can't do it. I don't have that much cojones to do that because I'd be too much of a hypocrite. There are so many men, like I referred to in the Ron White joke, that will claim that, oh, the idea of two men makes them sick, but two women they're just fine with. Karen's one of her exes, is a state trooper who would comment like that, but he was all for it if Karen wanted to find another woman. which she never did. That's not Karen. She's going to want to make sure I made that clear. Um, but so sexuality is something we all struggle with, and to try to get into God's will in our sexuality, I've been such a failure in that department. I'm not going to come on here and lie. By being that honest, and occasionally by slipping into carnality, people like the grand matriarch left. They left. They are, some people preach. Let me make that more generic. Repression. I want to do these things and I can't do them, but you're doing them, and it ticks me off that you're doing it. So I'm not watching you anymore. Don't let the door hit you in the arse on the way out, because I gotta be me. What else can I be but what I am? Yes, I can. I'll change some words here. I can try to grow as a Christian, present my body as a living sacrifice. I may be good at it on Monday and lousy on and doing that on Tuesday. It's just who I am. It's the reason the blood of Christ was created, because we are so far from perfect. I don't need your self-righteous condemnation. There's no condemnation from Jesus, but from your mouth there is plenty. Pee off. Pee off. I never expected to say half these things. And it's not because I'm so tired, because I got little sleep. It's just the mood I'm in. Carmen thinks I'm funny, right? I don't know. What am I doing, Carmen? All the Baptists are leaving in droves. 24 watching for this hour. That's good. 28 likes, more likes than people watching right now. That's interesting. Sounds like another poll, Jack. I'm going to be up to me. I'm going to be up to me chin in polls, but no, it wouldn't work for me. I'd get condemnation. I know just who would do it too. I know who would come at me. They'd quote scriptures and stuff, and scriptures that I all agree with. I don't disavow them or disagree with them. I just have a hard time living up to them. So, God looked around in the Old Testament times, and he saw that the law was not something people were seemingly able to follow. First of all, the Bible begins with incest. There was no other way. You're going to be related in the beginning. And then we have Abraham sleeping, gets drunk, and then his daughters take advantage of him sexually. That's all in the Bible. Read Songs of Solomon. No preacher has the guts to preach from that book. Oh my goodness, the voluptuousness of her breast. It's all in the Bible, Songs of Solomon. I have a video up on it here. I forget what I called it, but you can find it. It's pretty easy. It'll mention love in the title and all that. I got to get a list. I'm going to write the list before midnight ramblings. So you say, Nancy DeMarco, that Moody Blue was recorded in 77, and you may be right, or you may be crazy, but then again, it just may be a lunatic you're looking for, Nancy. You may have a wild side. You might take a walk on the wild side. Well, we've been covering that, haven't we? But everybody's welcome here, sexual orientation, or even if you're a progressive Democrat, I will say things you won't like, but as long as you keep it civil, because I try to keep it civil, we'll be cool. David Brian Lawson is here. He likes to put that Brian. The name Brian has several connotations to my past life. One connotation I would never tell you about, but then there was Brian, the assistant manager at McDonald's. Brian was a lot of fun. And then there was John Gazzarelli, the Italian owner, bald on top, but lots of black hair on the sides. The Gazzarelli brothers owned like 5 McDonald's, but he loved to come to my McDonald's the most. We couldn't get rid of John. Oh, here comes John again, and when he's there, the atmosphere is not as much fun because you're trying to be careful, because he'll yell at you, But he could be a very nice guy too. A very nice guy. If he's in a good mood, he was a nice guy. But if some new lowly crew member would come up to me, and Brian Marvin was his name, was the assistant manager, He came in, Brian came in as this really conservative Baptist type Christian, went to church every Sunday and spoke very carefully, chose his words carefully. And during the course of his time at McDonald's, he became can you imagine being snapped on the behind with a towel that you would use to clean at McDonald's by the assistant manager? That was Brian, and people loved him, so he got away with it, you know. Um, but the new crew member would not know how to do something, and instead of going to Brian, they would go to John Gazzarelli, the owner, and ask. And if he was in a good enough mood, he might just answer him and be nice. But other times he would say, "Don't ask me, ask Brian. Ask Brian." So everybody imitated that when John wasn't around. Now he thinks that one time I was doing an Italian accent. I love the Italian people so much. Every year we would go to Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter at the Candidos, the Italian family. I talk about Mike Candido. Got to show that picture again. Um, People I talk about and don't show their pictures. I got a couple of pictures I'll show you in a minute. Don't go anywhere. Um, um, but he apparently heard me do an Italian accent, and he comes over to me, and I'm not even an assistant. I'm not a crew chief yet wearing a manager's hat. I'm still a crew person. And he says, tell you what, if you can do that Italian accent, but you get the blankety blank out of here the next time you want to do that. And I was horrified because I want John to like me and I love the Italians. And now he thinks I'm prejudiced against the Italians. I said, John, I love the Italian people. I love them. He says, yeah, well, it didn't sound like it. Okay. I don't even know what I said. Even then, I had short term memory. I didn't know what I said and how I said it, and he didn't tell me that. So, but John Gazzarelli, he was an interesting man. I'm nice, LOL. Yes, you are, David Brian Lawson. Hello, my friend, here from Lexington. When you say Lexington, that brings me back to the Tom Hanks airport movie, The Terminal, where he's trying to explain. He speaks basically Russian, and so he's got written down where he's going. So he can leave this terminal. He spends almost the entire movie in the terminal trying to get out of there, where they really would have let him walk right out the front door, but he didn't know that because they told him to stay, so he's going to stay. Uh, so the time comes for he's being interviewed by Stanley Tucci. Any Stanley Tucci fans out there? Have you seen Finding Italy? He's been to every part of Italy. I think he found it. I hate having to watch Stanley Tucci on CNN because I give them a rating, but I will watch Stanley Tucci. He's well worth watching. And of course, a very fine actor, and he played the terminal manager in the movie Terminal. So here's Victor Navorsky sitting for the interview. Doesn't speak much English, but he's gotten it written out. Uh, why are you here in America? 110 Lexington Avenue. He's talking about the hotel. That's where the hotel is. That also happens to double as a jazz club. And the guy he's there to see is going to be in that jazz club. 111 Lexington Avenue. Heard him say that a number of times. So when I see Lexington, I think of that. That's not too far from Raleigh, is it, David? Hmm. Wow. 2 hours and 12 minutes. And no one is perfect, Pedal. Well, that's true. So if you could share your top 5 sins, Linda, we'd love to hear them, especially if they're salacious. See, that's the stuff that gets me in trouble with certain people that are very good at repressing their sin. But if they have found freedom, if they have really experienced the total renewing of their minds, and are centered completely in Jesus and have gone to heights that I have not reached, I have nothing but respect for you. We need more people like you. I'm just trying to get into heaven at this point, and surrender my flesh more than I'm doing it now. You know, it's the hardest thing. It was hard 40 years ago, and it's hard now. I mean, I've been dealing with this since I was 7 years old. I've sort of alluded to that story, but I'm not going to do it now. 100 miles. Okay, that's not too far. You could get there to the Raleigh Fair. Have you ever been to the Raleigh Fair? Just 30 miles from Winston-Salem. Yeah, cool. I'm hilarious. I'm getting myself in trouble, Vicky. There's going to be prudes out there, prudes that eat prunes. Well, it's not like I don't have before mavacamten, the drug that I take for my also known as CAMS oils. You see the commercials. It's a great drug. It's pretty much cleared up the obstruction in my heart. It's amazing. It's only about 3 years old. Before that, there was really nothing for cardiomyopathy, except, you take the metoprolol and stuff to keep your heart rate low and you might be okay. But this is a miracle drug. They would give you a defibrillator, as they did me. You are so funny. You are making my eyeliner run. Are you getting ready to tape, Carmen? If so, I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. I do want to give you a rose garden. I do. Yeah, John, we got a lot of polls now. I think that's a new idea. New idea. That's what they would say from Orange County Choppers. That was right here in Orange County, New York. They're now down in Clearwater, Florida, which I have not been to Clearwater. If I have, it was ever so briefly. And I want to go to Clearwater, Florida. And that's where Paul Tuttle Sr. from Orange County Choppers, of course, the show on Discovery was called American Chopper. American Chopper shot in Montgomery, New York, which is just down the road. So it's that way. I can be there in 25 minutes or less. Straight down Route 211. Straight down Route 211. Yeah, imagine if I told all, I'd have to put a special warning. I want to call. Oh yeah, I got that one. So Joseph Kelly joined us on his lunch break. Anna, with only one N. They shorted you an N, Anna, and I would look into it. 32 people watching now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. If it's morning where you are, if not, please let me know. If you're watching from like a whole other country, New Zealand, which is where Carmen is watching from right now. New Zealand. Hello, Carmen. Yeah, check out her YouTube channel. Check out her YouTube channel right here. Robin says, confirm that the guitars on Bob Joyce's church are the same in Elvis's collection. Okay, confirmed how? Give me the email now, Jack the Fair Guy, FAIR, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. Because when I look at the Blue Hawaii guitar, and I look at the one that's on Pastor Bob's stage that I think you're referring to, the black one with the design around it, it seems like a different design. And then there's the fact that 3 people I know, one that still talks to me, told me that they bought the guitar from Blue Hawaii. And then I looked at it and said, well, it's close, but it's not exactly. But it was expensive. And all 3 of them pooled their money, not pulled. See, I'm thinking John Jeffries. It's all polls now. You got me thinking. Pooled their money and they bought the guitar. And they all went together. And they're not from the same area. One from way far away from each other, but they all met in Benton, stayed in the same hotel. And the Sunday came, and they went, and at the end of the service, they presented Bob Joyce with that guitar from Blue Hawaii. Except as I look at it, I see a different design. And his face lit up when they showed it to him. Ooh, his face lit up because he knew it was, well, I would say similar, but that was a gift from them. And he knew they spent quite a bit of money on that one. And I think he found a way to bless them because these people were coming from far away. They're not rich. Is Pastor Bob rich? I do this video live from the lobby. Have you seen it? It's got about 4,500 views. Thank you. Please keep watching that. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a good one. I'm in the lobby at the during the Poco weekend, and I talk about Bob Joyce and Mar-a-Lago. That's in the title. And I'm talking. I'm presenting irony. I'm doing comedy because I'm saying he's at Mar-a-Lago and Gene Ho had to buy him some clothes because Pastor Bob is a poor country preacher. He buys most of his clothes at Family Dollar. I said that. People took it as verbatim. He doesn't buy his clothes at Family Dollar. And by the way, he does drive a Camry. Okay. And other things. Um, but they didn't get the joke. They didn't get the joke. Um, and there was one person who tried to tell me, if you state facts and if you, or you make it clear, you speak of possibilities, you could be wrong. Uh, you know, um, that could come back to bite you in the butt. We're very careful to say we speak of possibilities. I could be wrong about the whole thing. You know, I make it clear that I love Pastor Bob Joyce too, but this is the greatest entertainment story of all times, not covered by the mainstream media. Not covered by the mainstream media. I Googled the guitars. There is a similar one. Got a pic with him playing guitar. The guitar I looked at, you're talking about the black one, right? To me, it's a different design on there. So when you say confirmed, that's a very strong word. Also compared the guitars with the black one by the piano. That's the one I'm talking about. So maybe you saw another guitar. Maybe you did. I'm not saying he didn't keep the guitar from Blue Hawaii, but then again, I'm not saying that he would have access to that because I'm not saying for sure he's Elvis. Gotta watch how you say things. So it's just when I say, if I come on here and use the word confirmed, that's a real strong word. I have boxed myself in. And being a creator, I'm going to be, potentially held to account for that. So even though I express in the verdict and did Elvis preach Lisa Marie's private funeral? Did Bob Joyce preach it? It's different titles, and I cover different material in there and new material that's not in the other one. Those videos do very well, by the way. Um, Even though I'm talking about this, I make it clear that I could be wrong. When I hold up I don't have it in front of me right now. When I hold up a card that could be Lisa Marie's service card from her private funeral, not the public funeral. Bob Joyce did not go to the public memorial. He was preaching it live. He was preaching live in Benton as that was going on. See, and um, well, that's something interesting too. But I think I'll save that for the Saturday show. Um, just looking through a series of pictures here. If you haven't noticed, I like Google Photos. You might have gotten that impression since my room is now a museum. Um, Here's the great Johnny Hara, by the way. Johnny Hara looks a little like Elvis, but don't tell me he is Elvis, okay, or he was Elvis or whatever. In his later years, he looked like last days Elvis. Oh, there's Maureen McCormick, and I'm supposed to have this picture. There's Maureen McCormick, born in 1956. Um, as I was, I'm a few months older than her. In August, she will turn 68 years old, Maureen McCormick. So here it is. Um, this is not the best version I have of it. and you're not going to be able to read it, but that's the card I was given a long time ago after Lisa Marie's private funeral, possibly on the 28th of January. Um, and it lists the eulogy. Pastor Bob Joyce officiated from Rolling Hills. What was Rolling Hills? Well, Rolling Hills was Elvis bought Vernon a home in Rolling Hills. So that's maybe why Rolling Hills. I know Rolling Hills is used on several different things, and people have different ideas. So, and of course, here's the picture of Robert Wayne Joyce and Walina. We've shown this before. 71-year-old Robert Wayne Joyce with Walina Hattie. He married her in 1975. So what's the deal today? Who's Pastor Bob married to today? He's with Walina a lot. Are they married? And I can only speak of what I know for sure. And I don't know that for sure. But I know that man right there did not transform into looking exactly like Elvis Presley, although amazingly, in his later years, he did look more like Elvis. But you can clearly see it's two different men. I think I've been down that road before. A couple more of the pictures on the bottom here. This is in my second marriage. We went to see Billy Davis and Marilyn McCoo at Faith Assembly of God in Poughkeepsie. They sang gospel songs, but they also sang their hits. Obviously, they didn't sing a few. They didn't sing Stone Soul Picnic, one of my favorites, or Sweet Blindness, song about getting drunk. They didn't sing Aquarius, of course. They could have sang the second part of it, would have been a great close, but they sang Up, Up, and Away. And at some point, Billy Davis, they got a standing ovation when they came out to the huge Faith Assembly of God Sanctuary. He says, ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Marilyn McCoo. And he sits down and she sings One Less Bell to Answer. And last night I didn't get to sleep at all. No. She was incredible. He was incredible. What a lovely couple. And we met them after the show. I'm standing in front of a yacht there. Certainly, you're not going to see me standing inside the yacht. Nobody has offered to take me on their yacht. And if certain people did, if they happen to have a yacht, I'd be afraid they'd throw me overboard. But that's in Maine, in Portland, Maine, I want to say. Yeah, Portland. We probably will see that again this year. And in one of those yachts, there was a man sitting out. This is when it was still light outside. He was sitting puffing on a big cigar. And we look at him and he smiles. And I said, I guess you made better choices than I did financially, huh? He just laughed. I thought, well, come on the boat. Come on. He didn't invite us. And, I thought Karen might be my ticket on there, but I was actually the reason she would have been invited on the boat. But unless the missus was down in the galley or whatever. But we didn't get to go on his yacht. Oh, well, what's going on here? Growing speculation on possible Biden-Trump debate. Trump will eat his lunch for him. He won't hold back. He will say anything and everything. He'll probably even say, well, the Ashley Diary says you slept with your, you showered with your daughter. I'm not talking about a 3-year-old daughter either. We're talking about somebody much older than that, in her teens, perhaps. Did you shower with your daughter, President Biden? He'll say whatever he has to say because he hates his guts. Of course, we all know about the salaciousness of Donald Trump. What's going on right now in the Trump trial? Oh, they're having their morning break. Trump walks out of the courtroom. He does not make comments. Oh, he doesn't care about the $1,000 fine, but he doesn't want to be the first president to go to jail. And I think Judge Marchand, who already should have declared a mistrial, he should have taken himself out in the very beginning. He's not partial. All that stuff. His daughter making millions of dollars fighting against Trump. This is stuff we would have never seen before. 27 watching right now. And I have gone on a Sunday morning impromptu pop on to pop off to 2 hours and 28 minutes. And John Jeffries has been nice enough to stay with me. Too many coincidences. I need proof that he's not formally EP. And that's a good thing that you say about not formally EP. I want to comment more on that on Saturday, whether it be in a pre recorded video that leads into the live show. So please watch that. I need those pre recorded shows to go. They are my bread and butter. They are my bread and butter. I can't even think about going to Benton, Arkansas if I'm fighting to keep the channel alive. Oh, not live in terms of live shows, because you people are wonderful and you come here, but I have to have those pre-recorded videos, and it's part of that's on me to find the right thing and get Andy up here when I need him and what have you. The fact that I am a technical dodo has not helped. Here's President Trump. Here's Stormy. They make Stormy out to be ugly. She's still beautiful. See, I I am not shocked that President Trump can't tell the truth about all the women he slept with, including when he was married to the most beautiful first lady and still is married to her, that we've ever had, Melania. I think we know he's not a choir boy. Um, but I also believe that he's telling the truth when his main concern was that all this would get back to Melania. He even went as far as to stop the newspaper deliveries from Mar-a-Lago. But of course, it's all over the TV, so you can't stop it. Um, Remember the time Melania, during this time when everything was coming out, and they're walking, and Trump goes to grab her hand, go walk hand in hand, and she slaps his hand away. It's almost as bad as what happened to Bill Clinton. He was guilty of all that too. It's just the way it is, it's always going to be that. Did Trump sleep with Stormy Daniels? Of course he did. Karen McDougal? Yeah. If you're the kind of Trump person that has to put your head in the sand, he's not a choir boy. I hope he's a Christian now. He has said in the past that he never asked God for forgiveness. I think he may be a different man. That was early in the presidency. But if you're voting for a choir boy, it ain't Trump. And I don't know who it really would be, because the ones you think are the choir boys turn out to be worse than Trump and Clinton. Worse than Clinton? How many visits to Epstein Island? I don't know about that one. More Poles, Jack. Yes. Yes, I like the Polish people. I want them to be here. I think I've heard from maybe one person from Poland. Should I get a barbershop pole and I take a poll? That's going to cost me. You better send me that, John. You can send me a barbershop poll, but I've got very little room for it. I've got my on-air sign. I guess that's good enough. We got a great boat. Come on down to my boat, baby. Is that what you're saying to me, Robin Roman? Come on down to my boat, baby. Come on down. We'll sail away. Sleep all day. Party all night. Mama never let me out of her sight. Da 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 in my little red boat. My dad died that year, so I remember that song. Every mother's son, come on down to my boat. See, now I have somebody inviting me to stay in Round Rock, Texas, and I have someone inviting me to their boat. Let me see. I think that's what it said. We got a great boat. Come join us in Colorado. Rocky Mountain High. Will I visit the pot store while I'm there? You and Karen will have a great time. Well, that's a very nice invitation. My daughter goes to Colorado because her husband's relatives live there. So she has been and been to the pot store, I'm sure. She would just love it if she knew I was talking about her. Wouldn't it be funny if she was watching? Hi, darling. I love you very, very much, more than you could ever fathom. And I'm always thinking of ways to show you how much I love you and the grandchildren. Okay. I thought you were going to say more polka. Why don't you ever say more polka, John Jeffries? Did you watch my Devil Went Down to Georgia by 18-time Grammy winner Jimmy Sturr? It's not polka, but I told you they do all kinds of music. I tried to load the Sturr version of Wagon Wheel, but it's just too long. I got to chop it. They go from Wagon Wheel into Rock This Town Tonight. It's like at the end of the show, I'll be seeing them the 19th at the Polish Club in Clark, New Jersey. If you're anywhere near Clark, New Jersey, Marianne Rossi, not Donna Rossi, was going to go to the show, but she's got a recital with her grandkids, and I understand that. But guess what? After that said recital, she wants me to, it's close by to the Polish Hall. She wants me to come out and say hello, and I'll be happy to do that when I'm in Clark, New Jersey on the 19th, which is a Sunday. I don't think it will affect Worldwide Ramblings. It's afternoon show too, excuse me. And then the next week in Pennsylvania, I'll give you those dates in case anybody's near. I swear you'll have a great time. They'd say, I don't like polka. Believe me, he does a lot more than polka. Big band, rock and roll. He's got Chris Caffrey from in 2022. They were the #1 touring band in America, and they only go out in November and December. I'm talking about the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Chris Caffrey, the front guitarist, the man. He's with Jimmy most gigs. Coming to Passaic, New Jersey, but I went there once. It's very crowded in the traffic around there to get there. But then you find yourself in this most beautiful big park in the middle of Passaic. He does kind of a different show in Passaic because there's a strong Polish community there. So he's going to do more Polish language than he would normally do. I'm not a big fan of the Polish language polka. I like it if they do both languages in the song so they explain what they're singing. I like that. So there you go. I have to go, Jack. I need to go tunes. I have to go soon too. Have my Atkins morning shake. I hope you and Karen have a wonderful day. Yeah, go over and see Karen. She'll say, "What happened? You didn't go to the eye surgery place?" And I'll say, "They never told me that it wasn't going to happen." And now he's going to say, "Oh, it's next Friday." I don't know, Charlie. You don't know what night people go through when they try to get up at 7 a.m. I don't know if I'm going to say yes. I want to, and it can't be in the afternoon, those surgeries, Oh, no. They're done in the afternoon. They're going home at 2 o'clock. Oh, I know the feeling. Trying to get the feeling again. I've been up, down, trying to get the feeling again. The kind that makes me quiver, makes my heart start to shiver every time she walks in. I've been up, down. I love Barry Manilow. What can I tell you? I always did. Always did. Where did Barry Manilow get his start, gang? Give it to me. Don't look it up. Don't Google it. Where did Barry Manilow get his start and with who? Who's the first person to tell me? There's your question. Tell me where Barry Manilow got his start. I can tell you this. He never fancied himself as a megastar crooner when he got his start because he wasn't doing quite that. How did Barry Manilow get his start and with who? Can't beat a bit of Manilow. Saw him in New Zealand, really. He made the trip, huh? You are right, Nancy DeMarco. It was the Divine Miss M. He was the piano player for Bette Midler. And where did Barry Manilow often find himself playing the piano with Bette Midler? In what they call gay bathhouses. Gay bathhouses went out of existence when AIDS came along. But Bette Midler has a huge gay following. She likes men. But she has a huge gay following to this day. And Barry Manilow was her piano player at the gay bathhouses and wherever else she played. And then, of course, she went on to become a superstar, and he did too. So they went their separate ways by journey. And um, and it took Barry Manilow 30 years to say, by the way, I am gay and I'm married. It took Richard Chamberlain longer than that. My mom would have been so disappointed about Richard Chamberlain because she had such a crush on him, you know. I'd be watching right along with her, Dr. Kildare and Dr. Gillespie, his boss. And she would look at Richard Chamberlain and say the famous line that she would use for just a handful of men: he could put his slippers under my bed anytime, she would say to her 7-year-old son. Ben Casey, same thing. Vince Edwards, oh, bedroom eyes, Vince Edwards. But the thing that sticks out in my mind for that line, because, my mom came from a certain era, and her parents told her certain things and who you need to look out for. But when she told me that Sidney Poitier could put his slippers under her bed, I looked at her like she had just told me that she was from the planet Uranus. I couldn't believe that she said that. My mom, not that she had made vicious comments, um, but she was prone to saying what they said back then, unfortunately. And we've come so far, and we've come so far in our Jewish relation, only to see our punk kids that were raised by the millennials, their form of parenting. We now see the results of that. And by the way, there's some great kids that come from great homes. I realize that. And God bless you. We're so thankful for you because we've got some vicious kids out there. They're beating each other to death in the streets. And it's just horrible to see what's going on. I blog, therefore I am. I remember you. Blessed day to you all. Wow, I can't believe I'm on for 2 hours and 40 minutes. This is definitely a record. I like that Beth Miller, close but no cigar pedal love. Not muskrat love, but pedal love. When you say Beth, I think of Beth by Kiss, or I think of Beth from Dark Shadows, played wonderfully by Terry Crawford. Just saw her last night as we watched the Dark Shadows replays. We're in the Count Patofi or Camp Patofi. You say Patofi and he says Patofi, so I would go with Patofi. The late great Thayer David, who was in the first Rocky movie. Yeah. So that's the story. 31 watching, though. 31 watching. This is very good for my watch time hours, I don't know how many views we'll get in total. That's very important, too. Please hit the subscribe and like button. Hit the notification bell. Remember, Saturday night, Worldwide Ramblings at 10:30 East Coast time. It's 11:15. Have my milk chocolate Atkins shake and then ruin it all by having macaroni and cheese down at the diner around 3 o'clock. I got a shower, though, and I'm probably going to have to take a nap because I got up at 7 a.m. for no reason. But then I turned in buttermilk into cream. I turned it into like half and half. I love half and half, with my tea. Don't drink coffee. Never had a cup in my life. Just don't like it. Love the smell, though. Hazelnut? Ooh, that smells good. So much so I took a sip and I said, love hazelnut. Still hate coffee. Love onions. Love mushrooms. But if there's liver under those things, not for me. I'm not Hannibal Lecter. I don't want to eat liver. Well, here's someone new. I knew we'd get new people. Kym, K-Y-M, right? I'm doing this without my specs. I just popped on. Yes, that's what we are doing. This is called Pop On to Pop Off because I did not announce it. Good morning from Erie, PA. Well, Erie, PA. Yes, two of my favorite Polka Jammer Network personalities live in Erie, PA. maybe you know at least one of them, Kenny Olowin, 5 o'clock every Sunday, live from his house in Erie, PA, the polkajammer.network.org. He is a great jock. You will like what he plays. He plays the modern polka stuff. You'll enjoy it. And Gary Lonke, do you know that name? As his co-host most of the time. So funny, Gary. So funny. I've talked to Gary, talked to Kenny. They're from Erie, PA, and Gary was on I think he was the weatherman on your TV network for years. I don't know if he was the news guy or the weather guy, but Gary Lonke is well known in Erie, Pennsylvania. They talk about your restaurants there, the hot dog place. The famous hot dog place is one of Kenny's sponsors. And they talk about how you have all these beaches and stuff. Come to Erie, PA in the summer, right? Yeah. I was not too far from that when I got my start in radio in Dunkirk, New York. Not that far from Erie, PA at all. Polka is big here. Yes, it is. So check out Kenny. I'm not kidding you. What a voice that guy has. It's not as great as John B. Wells, who I'm telling you about in our latest short video. Watch that short, even though I don't make much money on the shorts. Broadcast great John B. Wells coming to Hot Springs. That's in my shorts. It sounds funny, doesn't it? I got to get that out of my shorts. And our newest video, please watch it. It's pre-recorded with roll-in video, and we show the entire spot, the video version of the Hot Springs spot. Bob Joyce will appear on Sunday, the 11th, in Hot Springs at the Rain. What is it called? The Rainer Hall Theater, or whatever it's called. I'm forgetting. I'm mixing two things up. But I tell you all about that in that video, and we show some roll-in video focusing on the arms of Elvis and then Bob Joyce. So please watch that and like it so more people can see it. It's got about 1,400 going to 1,500 hits, but I need more than that. I got to be honest, I'm hoping for at least 10 grand. 10 grand. Yeah, 10 grand. I better have millions of hits. 10,000 views on that. And it's not doing what I thought it would do. I think I make the mistake of rambling a little bit in the beginning and not going straight to content. I've got to learn not to do that. Should know it by now. I'm from East Meadow, had a cousin on Stone Avenue in Baldwin. Sarah's Diner. That wasn't the hot dog place, but they do talk about the food places in Erie. And he mentions Erie a lot in that show. So remember, 5 p.m., that'll be your time, Sunday, the polkajammer.network.org. He does it live. He's really big. He does DJing in Erie all the time for parties. People hire him for that. He's in his 60s now. Mike Fortner joins us. I'm 47, Jack, and I have also never had coffee or a salad. Oh, dear. I do have salads. Not as many as I should have, Mike. Yeah, I just can't. I can't enjoy coffee. Oh, I'll smell those grinds, and it smells so good. And there'll be hazelnut coffee brewing, or just about any kind of coffee, and it smells so good. I taste it. Nope. You love Journey Pedal, Linda. You ought to come up instead of hearts. You should have petals, rose petals. I'm talking about, of course. I don't know if we can make that happen. I'm not a tech guy, you know. Robin Roman is he was awesome. Who was awesome? Let me see. Yeah. I just don't know if it's that place because they named the place and it doesn't sound like that. Just a mile. I am from East Meadow. Yeah, we said that already. Hate liver too. Most people do, I think. But if you love it, you love it. It's kind of like escargot. I had escargot once in my life. I've told this story because it was my very first date with a woman. Like how I say with a woman, the goat was before that. Oh, stop it. That was improper, Jackie. And it wasn't the goat that Christy Nome killed. I wish I could have saved that goat from extinction. I like goats. Cracker, the dog, people do put dogs down for killing chickens and things like that. I don't judge her harshly. The reason I could never judge Christy Nome harshly is one thing, I agree with her Republican views. And the other reason, every guy knows what I'm going to say here. She is smoking hot, just like my Karen. And I really do believe that. I'm not just adding it. Smoking hot. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. See, this is why the grand matriarch left. Can't take my filthy mind, my filthy, every guy kind of mind. Oh, boy. I'm really relying on that blood of Jesus, everybody. I'm no good with anything tech. Barely able to use my phone. Yeah. Well, I have cost myself a considerable amount of money by not finding a way to learn this stuff. And I could just have Andy sit here and go over it 1,000 times, and I think that's what I have to do because it's costing me views. Because let's face it, so many people, their attention span is a minute, 3 minutes, 8 minutes for YouTube. And they're not interested in the chronological storyteller. They're interested in video, Nothing but the blood. That's all it takes. The blood plus nothing. Just in miles, not just in case, but just in miles. Just in miles. Are you new? Where are you from? Welcome. You're so right. It's the blood plus nothing, and that's unfathomable to me because I don't believe I have. Now you're going to make me cry. Don't you do that, Justin Miles? You're going to make me feel like I'm in from Boise, Idaho. Really? I'm not going to do Idaho jokes. See, there's another example. But remember the Barbara Walters interviews? She could make anybody cry. She made Burt Reynolds cry. You don't make Burt Reynolds cry too easy, But I've told this story before. You may know it already anyway. But she's interviewing Burt, and she just assumes that the love of his life was Dinah Shore. Well, she was like a mentor to him, older, considerably older when they dated, but a wonderful woman. And she centered him and gave him perspective on what values were and things like that. And he said, oh, she was just so wonderful. I get emotional thinking of Burt Reynolds getting emotional. I must be old now. But he said, oh, yeah, she was a wonderful lady, but not the love of my life, no. And Barbara Walters says, well, then who was? This is weird. When you get to this age and you get emotional about other people's stories. He says it was always Sally. I get emotional because I think about my own failed relationships. Say, it was always Sally. But I blew it. I didn't know what I had, and I blew it. I wonder if Sally feel what she thought when she saw that. So Barbara Walters had the gift. She could have made the Pope cry. If it's the current Pope, he would have had a lot to cry about. He's been a lousy Pope. When Raymond Arroyo doesn't like you, somebody as great as Raymond Friendly, who loves the church like Raymond Arroyo, infers that you're a false woke Pope, it's bad. And Heather the Feather, Heather Light as a Feather, comes to join us from the great country of Canada. Did you see that picture of Melania looking at Justin Trudeau like he was an ice cream sundae, like he was a fine piece of cheesecake. They caught that when Trump and Trudeau were at a conference together. They spoke, and Trump is looking down and like a depressed look on his face, and Melania is looking like a Trudeau, like, why can't I be married to you? Why can't I be married to you? This is before we found out he was a schmuck dictator, though, you know? This is before we found that out about Justin Trudeau, that he would make your life miserable if you didn't go along with his party line. Get him out of there. I mean, through voting him out, if that's even possible anymore. USA, USA. You're in the USA, Heather? Why do I think you're in Canada? USA, USA, USA. Baba Wawa, played delightfully by what's her name, the late great Gilda Radner. She did she ran right into Barbara Walters at a party, and she says, "So Barbara said to her, so do me." She had already seen it, you know. So Gilda Radner adored Barbara Walters, and she went into her Baba Wawa, which was leaving out the R's in just about every word she says. So it's really, really great to see you, Burt Reynolds. It's really great to see you. And she got through the whole stick, and Barbara Walters looked at her and said, "I'm working on my R's." Oh dear. See, anything like that, you know, it's not like she never hit the R in a word. It's she wouldn't have said wee willy wheelie. She said really, but you know, and other times she missed the R. You know. So hello, Heather. Hello, Heather. Why do I think you're in Canada if you're in the USA? But you're right. Jesus paid it all. To him I owe. Tremendous debt. Tremendous debt. Unworthy. Unworthy in every way. Who did I lose? Oh boy, Robin. If I tell you who I lost, I'm going to have to end the show there. I'm not going to be able to continue if I tell you who I lost. Yeah, I know that Barbara Walters passed away, a high-speed drifter. I can understand being a drifter. You see new things and everything like that, but don't do it at a high speed. You could become a splat on the highway, or you could kill an innocent family. So slow down unless you're on a racetrack. And look what happened to Dale Earnhardt. I'll remind you of that. Okay, I will end the show with that. I didn't expect to do this. So thank you. Worldwide Ramblings tomorrow night at 10:30 East Coast time. And we'll take 2 polls concerning Bob Joyce. And who knows what else we're doing. Might do a pre-recorded video before it. Please watch these pre-recorded videos. And indicate that you have and like it and everything, if you like anything at all in it, because I need the views, gang. I can't even think of going to Hot Springs if I'm getting 1,400 views on a video that I'm expecting to go into the thousands, you know. Roll in video, having Andy up here and everything. So please watch the Will Elvis return in 2024? I'm not just trying to capitalize on old thoughts. There's new stuff in that video, including roll-in of the Bob Joyce arm and the Elvis arm. So please watch it. David Brian Lawson, see you soon, my friend. And I'm going to close with the story you requested, and it'll be short and sweet. Who did I lose? I've never lost a family member. I've never well, I lost my dad and I lost my mom. We've all gone through that. You know, my dad was a little surprising because I was 11 years old at the time, you know, but I knew he had a bad heart. He probably had cardiomyopathy, and he didn't have like mavacamten, because I have it too. and he didn't have a defibrillator in his chest, et cetera, et cetera. So, but it was still a shock when my mom got a phone call that my father had passed away. So that's very sad. John Lyman Willard, and New York City union plumber, and I loved him. I only saw him on the weekends. He stayed down with my half sister during the week because it was closer to New York City. But I looked forward to Friday night, and I was so sad to see him drive off. I remember that on Sunday afternoon, knowing I wouldn't see him till Friday. But that's another story. Who did I lose? Okay. Got my hand on the end stream here. Got my hand on the end stream button. Thank you for watching. Never expected to be on for almost 3 hours for a pop on to pop off. But you're such wonderful people, and I appreciate that. I lost. Who did I lose? I lost my daughter. She's not dead, but she wants nothing to do with me. I've never met my grandchildren. I'm not going to meet the one that she's pregnant with now. I'm never going to meet him. Probably not. She's never going to give me a break. What was fine in the beginning? Was with her when she was pregnant, went out there to Texas. She doesn't live in Texas anymore. Bought the baby gifts. I always knew that she probably didn't love me because she had a lot she wouldn't forgive me for in terms of, the divorce thing. And that I basically caused the divorce. But I never thought that she would disown me, And I can't get a hold of her down in North Carolina, and I'm always trying to find new ways to do that. But who knows? Who knows? My firstborn, I love her very much. Thanks for watching. For Pop On to Pop Off. I'll talk to you tomorrow.